Today, we're learning a little bit more about SCP-173, better known as the Sculpture. Let's check this out.
A group of 3 Class D personnel approach the locked containment chamber. One of them is carrying a bucket and mop, but all 3 of them look jumpy and hesitant to move forward. An SCP Foundation guard walking behind them gives one of them a push forward with the barrel of his gun.
So for those of you guys that haven't seen an SCP video from me before, these guys in the orange jumpsuits are D-Class personnel, and they are basically like test subjects that the SCP Foundation puts in with dangerous SCPs to see what will happen.
He continues stepping towards the cell door. All 3 of them nervously stare at the heavy locked metal door. Behind it, the sound of stone scraping against metal can be heard coming from inside.
That's it, guys. That's the statue SCP.
Asks the 3 if they are ready. They don't answer, and the
I wouldn't be.
Starts to laugh.
Oh, that's messed up, dudes.
The guard loudly announces that special containment procedures are beginning now. You know the rules. 2 maintain eye contact at all times while the other cleans. If you have to blink, do it 1 eye at a time, and announce before you close even 1 eye so everyone knows. The guard turns and starts to enter a code into the keypad next to the door. Each of the D-classes take a couple hard, last blinks, taking the last opportunity they have to shut both of their eyes at the same time before they begin.
So guys, if you don't know this about the statue SCP, you have to look at it at all times. It's kind of like a weeping angel from the Doctor Who universe, where you have to maintain some sort of eye contact, or else it will come up behind you and it will kill you. Literally, that's what happens. So that's why they're sending in 3 D-Class personnel. Now, the only problem is, if there's no light in the room, then you can't see the SCP. So I have a weird feeling that's what's going to happen. The lights will go out, and then the statue will be released into this foundation.
With a loud hiss, the sealed chamber door unseals. All right, eyes up, the guard commands. The door opens to reveal a small, dimly lit chamber.
Ew.
There are no furnishings, and much of the metal floor and walls are covered in a reddish-brown substance.
That stuff is
and
gross.
There in the corner is what they've heard stories and rumors about. The thing that has given them nightmares ever since they learned that they would have to enter the containment chamber. SCP-173. Or as most of the staff in the SCP Foundation call it, the Sculpture.
Oh, sorry, the Sculpture, not the statue.
It looks so unassuming in person. Just a crude, concrete figure with a stupid-looking spray-painted face, standing motionless.
Dr. Bob, you gotta chill, man. Do not offend this SCP, or else this SCP might, come around someday and, do bad things to you.
In the corner. The 3 D-classes get another push from the guard behind them, and they enter the chamber. The 2 assigned to watch SCP-173 assume their position in the middle of the room.
Do not blink.
Locked on the Sculpture, as the other starts cleaning the foul substance off the floor and walls. It smells terrible, like a mix of old blood and human waste.
What is that?
The 2 assigned to watch 173 pay no attention to the one cleaning, though. They follow protocol to a T, maintaining their vigil and announcing each time they are going to blink, even if it is only 1
Can you guys do this?
The 3rd one continues cleaning, trying
if
his
you
best
can,
to
leave a
keep
like
his
on
own
today's
eyes
video.
locked on the Sculpture as he attempts to mop around it without getting too close. D-5933 does his job and doesn't break eye contact with SCP-173.
Oh my gosh,
Even
they're
though it
right
hasn't
next
moved,
to it.
He can feel the presence of the Sculpture, something within it, just waiting for him to slip up.
I don't
to let
like
his eyes
this.
avert for just 1 split second. They say that's all it takes. You stop looking for even an instant, and it's all over. With all of the fear coursing through his veins, it is hard to maintain focus. All he can think about is how dry his eyes feel, and blinking them 1 at a time never seems to be enough. He wants so badly to shut his eyes, to end their itchy, dry feeling. But he can't. Even with another watcher, it's too risky. There's suddenly a loud crack.
Whoa.
D-5933 doesn't move his eyes away from 173.
What?
He can see in his periphery that the other D-class dropped his broom and instinctively looked down at it. Luckily for him, there were others watching.
Okay, guys, I thought that somebody maybe unleashed some other SCP and then it killed one of the other D-Class personnel. I thought maybe, I don't know, like SCP-173 decided that, he would just break all rules of the SCP universe and then just start attacking. But it seems like it was just the broom. So for now, I guess they're safe. For now.
D-5933 shifts in place, taking a step back and bumps into something. He can't look at what it is, but he reaches behind him and feels that it's the other D-Class watcher.
Okay, this is getting kind of weird.
Why is he facing the other way?
Is there...
What are you doing? What's going on? He asks, his eyes never leaving SCP-173. What are you talking about? The other D-Class asks back.
What's happening?
You're facing the wrong way. I'm facing the wrong way. You're facing the wrong way. We're supposed to be watching 173. What are you looking at?
What's happening?
I am looking at 173. What are you...
Guys, wait a second. Are there 2 SCPs? Did it somehow duplicate into 2? Because if that's the case, guys, I don't know if they're going to survive this encounter. I didn't realize that the sculpture SCP was able to duplicate. I've never heard of that before.
What are you looking at? D5933 doesn't know what's going on and starts to panic.
I would too.
Is focused on his task.
Stop! Look at the sculpture.
Especially dirty corner of the cell. It's the worst sound D5933 could have heard. Achoo!
No!
A sneeze, just inches behind his head, followed by the sound of bones.
Oh! See, guys, that's how you know he's dead. That guy just got destroyed. He got deleted.
That was cut off too short, and then a sick thud as a body dropped to the floor. D5933 doesn't even have a chance to scream before a pair of concrete hands grab his neck and his own head is twisted around.
Are you serious?
To see another identical-looking sculpture staring back at him.
So it did multiply itself somehow, which I've watched videos about the sculpture SCP, guys, and I've never heard of this SCP ever multiplying. Like, it's supposed to be just one sculpture SCP, and that's all that you have to worry about, but there's 2. And if there's 2, that means there could be 3, there could be 4, 5, there could be an infinite amount of these sculpture SCPs.
Ladies and gentlemen of the O5 Council, we have a problem.
Well, yeah.
The senior researcher is giving a presentation to a group who remain largely in the shadows, obscuring both their identities as well as their reactions to his horrendous news. SCP.
This will be their reaction. What? It can multiply? What? That's probably what their faces would look like if we could see them.
173, through means which we have not yet been able to determine, has multiplied.
What the heck?
Reaction from
Are you kidding me?
Seated around the large curved table. The researcher in charge of SCP-173 waits for a response, anything at all. But after receiving none, he clears his throat and continues. We gave each of the new instances their own designation, SCP-173-1 and SCP-173-2. 2 of the D-Class on observation duty during their regular cleaning of 173's cell were killed.
Wait, so that means this guy who was cleaning somehow made it out alive. He was able to look at both of the SCPs at the same time. That's honestly pretty impressive. His eyeballs were probably going like in 2 different directions.
The 3rd was able to keep them both in his line of sight until they could be recontained and moved into separate cells.
Wow.
Again, no reaction from the shadows. But as you know, this wasn't the end of it. At some point, the instances of SCP-173 multiplied again, each splitting to form yet another instance.
Guys, I was right. So because there's 2, that means now there could be 3, there could be 4, and there's a confirmed 4 sculpture SCPs, which I don't know if I want to live in a world where there's more than just one of these absolutely terrifying creatures. Like, how are you supposed to contain 1, let alone 4, and they could just keep multiplying? So before we keep going with the video, I need to tell you guys about my brand new cookie plushies. They're super cute, squishy, and probably the softest plushie ever created. They're so soft. I love them. We have the OG chocolate chip cookie, the sprinkle cookie, and my personal favorite, the zombie cookie. If you guys are watching on a TV, grab your phone, or your mom's phone, or your grandma's phone, and scan this QR code right here. Go ahead, I'll wait. Or you guys could head right on over to BeckBroJack.co. Okay, you guys got it? Let's get back to the video.
SCP-173-1 through 4 are all contained separately, but we don't know if or when another split will occur. The senior researcher waits, but no one on the O5 Council speaks or moves until the one seated in the very middle slides a piece of paper across the table in front of him. The senior researcher looks confused. He looks to the mobile task force guard stationed near the door, but he too remains expressionless, eyes locked straight ahead. The researcher, unsure of what else to do, steps away from the lectern and walks towards the table. He picks up the piece of paper and reads it. Object class, upgrade from Euclid to Keter. Orders, continue observation.
So for those of you guys that don't know, there are 3 different classes when it comes to SCP. There's the safe class, which are SCPs that are, you know, like the title kind of says, safe. You don't really have to worry about them too much. Euclid class are SCPs that are kind of like neutral, where if you don't mess with them, they won't mess with you. And the Keter class SCPs are the ones that are extremely dangerous and need to be contained and monitored at all costs. So this guy just got upgraded from like a neutral class to a very aggressive, like red Keter class that they need to make sure stays contained, or else all havoc could break loose.
The senior researcher nods in agreement, thanks the O5 Council for their time, and leaves the room. Lights flash and siren blare in the halls of Site 19. It's a containment breach. Facility staff, researchers, and site guards all run down the hall, screaming, trying desperately to get away.
Seriously?
There's no hope for any of them, though. In a flash, SCP-173 instances appear behind them.
Okay, guys. Well, I mean, I get that this is definitely one of those instances that's super scary, but this is an SCP that, like, we know how to contain. All you have to do is look at it. So if there's a bunch of people that are like trapped with this SCP, all they have to do is go like back to back to back and then just take turns blinking like this. And if you just keep doing this, the SCP can't do anything. So as long as you're doing this, you know, forever, we're okay. You just got to do this until we figure out how to contain this guy. So, yeah.
Snapping their necks and dropping them to the floor before moving on to their next victim. There must be dozens of them. Even as a guard tries to keep their eyes on one instance, preventing it from moving, another appears behind them. The staff of Site 19 flee for their lives, screaming for someone, anyone to help them.
This is
the senior
crazy.
researcher presses pause on the video. The terrified face of the senior researcher who gave the last presentation is frozen on the screen. An instance of SCP-173 is directly behind them.
How did this
his hand
happen?
wrapped around his neck in the split second before his life was snuffed out. The new researcher giving the presentation looks considerably more frazzled than his predecessor. He explains to the O5 Council that following this horrific containment breach at Site 19, at least 61 instances of SCP-173 are now unaccounted for.
61?
It is still unknown how they are replicating, but worryingly, there is evidence that the process may be speeding up. He presses play on a new clip from the security footage, which shows what appears to be multiple instances of 173 working in tandem, some using their bodies to block exits, others creating choke points in the facility corridors. We have theorized that SCP-173, as we are now referring to the collective instances, may possess a form of hive intelligence. It also appears
so basically they all share the same brain of whatever the original SCP-173 is. So maybe if they can locate the original one that started the whole entire like clone multiplication process, maybe, and I'm just spitballing here, maybe if they destroy that somehow, some way, or at least contain it, then they'll be able to contain all of the other SCPs. But we really have no idea.
This intelligence scales with the number of instances that are nearby. This allowed them to implement tactics that thwarted our containment efforts, as they used instances to block our containment teams from being able to pursue others. What you have in front of you is a proposal for revised special containment procedures. What I recommend may sound drastic, but it's what I truly believe is the only way to contain this threat.
You gotta do a nuclear bomb. Just nuke the whole place. Blow it up.
Shadows that obscure them. What I propose is that SCP-173 instances no longer be kept in containment cells, but instead placed inside of form-fitting metal containers. We can then use SCP-120 to transport the instances to the Foundation site on the lunar surface. The facility will have to be abandoned, of course.
I'd never heard of SCP-120, but I'm guessing that is some sort of safe class SCP that you could use to just teleport things wherever you really want to teleport them to. So that's pretty cool.
Of course. It's too risky to maintain a presence there, but each of the instances will be fitted with a tracking collar to ensure that we will be able to detect if any of them are somehow able to escape. The senior researcher waits. After a time, a paper is once again slid across the table. He approaches and picks it up. He sees that it is the same folder containing the revised special containment procedures proposal.
So guys, the people that are giving these like special documents is the O5 Council, and they're basically like the people at the top of the SCP Foundation. They give out the orders, they make new SCP Foundation sites, they, you know, discover new SCPs, and they basically are the people that are calling the shots. They're kind of like the presidents of the SCP Foundation.
He opens it to find that it has been stamped, approved.
Oh, cool. So that's the plan.
Breaking news flashes across the screen. A worried-looking reporter appears as though she didn't have time to do her hair or makeup before rushing on air to deliver this special report.
Okay.
She explains that civilian deaths across North America are now estimated to be more than 500,000 people in the last 48 hours, as these still unidentified creatures continue their deadly rampage across the continent.
Are you kidding me? The SCP Foundation completely failed, and they literally let the SCP go on a rampage. That is insane.
It is unknown how many of them there may be.
Hide your kids, hide your wife, just hide.
That there may be hundreds, if not thousands, or even tens of thousands of these living, neck-snapping sculptures. The reporter explains that rumors are circulating that the creature can be stopped by maintaining eye contact with it.
Yes.
But this has yet to be confirmed. There is still no official word from the White House or from any members of Congress, and their current location and status are unknown, following reports that most of Washington, D.C. was overrun by the creatures earlier that day. The reporter suddenly stops speaking.
Oh,
and
no.
a terrified look comes over her face.
Oh, they're
her
there.
Eyes locked on something just off screen.
Oh, dude.
The camera pans over to show an instance of SCP.
The cameraman is an SCP.
P-173 standing over a dead cameraman.
Oh, no, that's
There's
the
a
cameraman.
scream, and the camera goes back to the reporter, who now lies dead on her desk.
All
her
right.
head twisted 180 degrees before there's another sound of bones breaking.
Okay.
A woman in an SCP researcher coat sits at a computer terminal in a secure bunker, a large, jeweled medallion around her neck.
Okay, that has to be an
Personal
SCP.
log of Dr. Bright. From the little news I've been able to gather, it sounds like SCP-173 has besieged and destroyed 4 Foundation facilities pretty much simultaneously in the last 24 hours. Each instance...
Guys, the sculpture is about to take over the entire world. Like, I knew this SCP was deadly, but the thing was, it was contained when there was just one of them. So if they ever, like, did multiply, this is probably what would happen.
shows the same strength as the original, and thousands of them working together are capable of ripping open concrete bunkers and compromising foot-thick steel doors.
Wow.
I alone have been killed 37 times in the last week. They can smell me somehow,
What?
regardless of what body I'm in. The majority decision of the remaining O5s is that this is an XK-class end-of-the-world scenario unfolding.
Oh my goodness.
They're gonna deal with the problem, or else the Russians are. They're evacuating this base, which means there won't be a single Foundation scientist anywhere in the New World. They say they're gonna try to evacuate the surviving civilians, but I doubt it. There can't be more than a couple hundred people in all of North America anyway.
That's it?
I managed to make it down to a secure bunker, but who knows how long it will be until they're able to get in.
So I am kind of curious about one thing, guys, which I'm sure that you guys are too. How do the SCPs, like how does the sculpture know where people are, right? Because like they're going around and obviously like they're destroying all of civilization, but like it's kind of strange that they know exactly where to go. This location seems like it's in the middle of nowhere, and somehow these SCPs are able to track this person down and kill them. Like they're gonna break down this door, they're gonna go down into the bunker, and bada bing, bada boom, it's over. So I don't know how they're this smart, honestly. So comment down below if you have any ideas.
I don't think there's any chance I can get out either. I'm running out of food, and I'm not sure which will get me first. Hunger, the sculptures, or what I know the O5s will inevitably do. Dr.
What are they
Bright
going to
closes the
do?
computer terminal and sits back in her chair. She looks up at the ceiling of the bunker where the sound of concrete scratching against metal can be
they're
heard
there.
through the thick walls.
They're there, dude.
A sullen and tired-looking researcher steps out of a room in the makeshift Foundation site that has been established just outside of Amsterdam in the Netherlands. He's holding a piece of paper and closes the door behind him, which has had O5 Council authorized entry only hastily painted on the outside. A small group of Foundation staff are waiting for him. They've gathered to hear what the overseers have decided to do in the face of this world-ending disaster. The researcher looks around at his colleagues' faces, and as they make eye contact,
it doesn't look
any
good.
hope they had is quickly replaced by the bad news they know is coming. He begins to read. Revised Special Containment Procedures. Containment Zone X1, formerly North and South America, is to be denied access. Following
What?
saturation nuclear bombing, the number of
What?
SCP-173 instances has been reduced.
I know I said that earlier, that they should have like nuked the original site, and it seems like they did that. It's just like a day a day too late, it seems. So yeah, they totally should have took my advice and done that at the start.
All available Foundation resources are to be redirected to monitoring the ocean to ensure the integrity of Containment Zone X1. Foundation adjuncts from national navies are to perform around-the-clock patrols and sonar sweeps. Detected instances are to be contained and removed to SCP-120 for transport to the lunar containment site. That's it? One of the staff members asks. That's it.
Wow.
The researcher replies. Several of those present begin to cry.
I mean,
There's
I
nothing
would
more they can
too.
do. Their homes,
It's
their
over.
friends, their families, all of them are gone. Killed either by the neck-wrenching sculptures or in the heat of a nuclear blast.
Guys, I know that this seems really bad, but imagine if instead of this sculpture, it was Shy Guy that could multiply. Shy Guy is an SCP that's, I think, even more powerful than the sculpture. So, like, just imagine that. Imagine, like, a million Shy Guys running around and then just destroying everything and everybody. That would be way worse than this. And you can't even really destroy them.
Why? Why did they have to do it? One of the other staff, who appears to be a former site guard, asks. That's all we could do, another argues. There's much disagreement in the small crowd. No matter how they feel, though, this was the official order from the O5 Council. Their word is law, especially in a world where all law and order outside of the Foundation has broken down. There really was no other option. All they can do now is hope that the sacrifice of 2 whole continents was enough to keep it contained, that SCP-173 is unable to cross the ocean to Europe, and that they remain safe on this side of the planet. The group grows quiet, mourning the loss of the world they once knew, when the silence is suddenly interrupted by someone running down the hall. It's another researcher, carrying his own piece of paper. He tries to push past the group towards the O5 Council's door, insisting that they let him through.
Mr. Glasses has a solution.
Wait, what is it? Demands the group. We deserve to know. The group wrestles the paper away from the junior researcher, and it is passed through the group to the same man who read the revised special containment procedures. He quickly reads the report. It's just a couple of lines, and his face goes white.
Oh.
What is it? What does it say? Comes a question from the crowd. A message from the North Atlantic Navy General Command. Verified sighting of SCP-173 in the United Kingdom. Nuclear bombardment authorized and executed.
What?
No survivors. SCP-173 has come for them.
That SCP video makes me want to go hide under my bed and maybe never come back out. But if you guys think that that's scary, well, wait until you meet Mr. Hungry. Oh, no. Because that SCP might actually eat you and I alive. Unless you leave a like on today's video.
A man opens his mouth to bite a hot dog.
Sounds like me.
Freezes. His eyes widen, and the hot dog drops from his hand, falling to the ground. Ahead, a stampede of people is running toward him, screaming, crying out for help.
Why?
Behind them, a man walks at an ordinary, casual pace, but something is off. His eyes have a glazed, unfocused look to them.
Okay.
And he keeps shoveling random items into his open mouth.
That's kind of weird.
Down. He eats a clipboard and pen, a discarded shoe, and as the first man watches in horror, the very hungry man grabs the ankle of a fallen member of the crowd and pulls him into his mouth, devouring him. The first man turns to run for his life, only to be knocked to the ground by the rest of the crowd, trying to escape. He struggles to climb back to his feet, and a hand reaches out to take his.
Oh, is that
When he makes it
Mr.
to his
Hungry?
feet, he looks up and sees the hungry man.
Oh
pulling
my
him in,
goodness.
mouth stretching.
He looks like a Titan from Attack on Titan, but normal size.
Cloudless blue. The air is warm from the unbroken sunlight, but cooled to the perfect temperature by a gentle breeze.
So it's a
There is
nice day.
sense of electricity, excitement, and competition in the air.
Okay.
Throngs of people have gathered together in a makeshift arena, piled into plastic chairs and swarming around concession
I'm gonna guess
stands,
it's some sort of
all
eating
training their eyes
competition.
on the arena's center. What are they here for? Some sort of Olympic Games? A baseball tournament? A horse race? No, it's something greater, something meatier. It is the annual Midsummer Hot Dog Eating Contest, and locals and tourists alike are coming together to see just who can cram the
Where's
most
Joey
pork or beef
Chestnut?
hot dogs and buns
I'm pretty
down
sure he
their
wins,
gullets
like, every
in front
year.
of a roaring crowd. The announcer makes his way to the front of the arena, standing with his arms wide in front of the long table behind him. As he calls out the names of this year's contestants, they file in, each taking his place behind the table. There is the previous year's champion, a burly man with a bushy beard and twinkling eyes.
I'm kind of curious if we'll see Mr. Hungry, aka SCP-913, as one of the contestants here today.
And there is this year's surprise competitor, a skinny 19-year-old college student with a hungry grin. Then there are the lesser-known contestants, a local father who signed up after making a joke with his daughter, an uncle who scrawled his name on the sign-up sheet after a few too many drinks, a recently retired man checking off another item on his golden years bucket list. All have come to the event today with full hearts and empty stomachs, ready to see who the
who's
year's
gonna
victor
win?
will be. The announcer riles up the crowd, encouraging them to cheer as loudly as possible to spur on their chosen competitor.
All the while, staff are carrying out trays piled high with hot dogs. More hot dogs than most people see in a year.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Really love hot dogs. Each contestant receives a tray of hot dogs, a bucket of water, and an additional empty bucket, just in case.
Kind of side note, I always wondered, like, if you sign up for a food eating competition, do you have to pay for the food? Because I feel like that would be a pretty good way to get a lot of free food if you wanted to. Just saying.
Well, you get the idea. With the supplies and competitors all in place, it is time to begin the countdown. The announcer holds up his favorite air horn and calls out,
3, 2, 1, eat!
At the sound of the air horn's blast, the men leap into action, seizing hot dogs from plates and each engaging in their unique competitive eating technique. The previous year's champion employs the method of famous hot dog eating champion Joey Chestnut.
That's who I was
dunking his
talking about.
Hot dog sloppily
Yeah,
into
he
his
makes
water
it like really
and
mushy.
swallowing it as quickly as
Kind of
possible.
gross.
The new challenger, on the other hand, employs the Solomon method, named for King Solomon. Much like the fabled king suggested doing with a stolen infant, eaters using the Solomon method break the focus of their feasting in half before polishing it off. One of the more casual competitors attempts a divide and conquer technique.
Interesting.
First the dog
Oh,
itself,
ew, I didn't
and
like
then
that.
the
That was
bun.
weird.
Others employ no specific technique at all, attempting to devour the stack of hot dogs before them, using
Yeah.
the same classic eating style they might employ at a family barbecue.
He's just chomping
This
down.
is a grave mistake. One by one, the less prepared competitors drop out,
He looks
spitting
so-
into their buckets,
so
wiping meat sweats from their
tired.
foreheads, waddling out of the arena while groaning and holding their
They're
aching
all going to be in
stomachs.
food comas.
Soon, only the two frontrunners remain. But what's this? A challenger approaches. An unassuming black man, clad in a shirt and dress pants, rushes into the
It's
arena,
Mr.
his face
Hungry.
a mask of single-minded determination, and begins seizing the discarded hot dogs off the table, gobbling them up as fast as he can. The announcer and the rest of the audience watch in stunned disbelief. This is unprecedented, and as exciting as it is, definitely against the rules. This man is not a registered competitor, and he certainly can't join the contest in the champion stretch. Unsure of what else to do, the announcer beckons to the staff on the sidelines, ushering them back toward the table to clear
Oh,
the
no,
food
they're
and
gonna try to
escort
get rid
the
of him.
surprise drop-in out of the arena. The audience watches with rapt attention as the staff members attempt to remove the stranger from
Oh,
his place at the
no,
table.
dudes. This
He
is how
shakes his head
chaos
violently,
happens.
refusing
Look at his teeth, too. His teeth look almost like they're carnivore teeth. Like they're a little sharper than usual.
to go and snatches the hot dogs away from them, even as they try to clear the trays away. All the while, the remaining competitors standing are attempting to stay the course and finish strong in spite of the interruption. The new, younger man collapses, slumping down onto the table in a hot dog-induced stupor. He has tapped out. The victor is the previous year's champion, with a staggering ultimate tally of 38 hot dogs.
38,
As
dude.
4 staff members work together
I
to
don't even
wrestle
think
the
I could eat
stranger out of
10.
the arena, the champion steps forward to receive his trophy. The crowd roars as he holds up his arms, grinning ear to ear and basking in yet another win. The announcer can still see the staff struggling with the stranger out of the corner of his eye, but this crowd wants to see their champion crowned, and the show must go on.
I wonder if something like this has ever happened before, where during like a professional eating competition, has a random stranger come up and like just tried to join the competition out of nowhere, and they're like just chowing down on hot dogs, and then they have to get security to come escort them out because clearly they're getting a bunch of free food, which is illegal. You must pay for the food, I think anyway.
So he grabs the Hot Dog King sash, the crown made from gold, well, gold-plated, hot dogs, and even the massive gold trophy. He crowns the winner, placing the sash over his shoulders. Then, as the music swells triumphantly, courtesy of the local high school marching band, the announcer holds up the trophy,
Wow.
sunlight glinting off its shiny
It's
surface.
gorgeous.
It represents so many things: achievement, celebration, the ability to eat just so much meat and not get sick, and now it is time for it to be awarded to the man who earned it.
He did
The
it.
announcer stretches his arms, handing over the
What a
trophy to the
beast.
contest winner, when all of a sudden,
Oh.
another hand grabs
Oh,
hold
is he
of his
going to
handle,
eat the
ripping it from
trophy?
the announcer's grasp. The stranger has returned, somehow freeing himself from the multiple security guards.
Yeah,
who escorted
because he
him
ate
away.
them
He has
alive.
taken the trophy for himself.
Somebody should go check on
But
them.
he isn't just attempting to crown himself the hot dog king. No, this is not a simple coup de hot dog. He lifts the trophy up over his head, opening his mouth as wide as it will go, and tears the metal in half with a horrible screeching sound,
So-
shoving the pieces into
As soon as you see that, especially when you see his like mangled teeth, which probably happened because he's done this a bunch, where he's probably been eating everything in sight, including metal, which will destroy your teeth. So as soon as you see something like this, like you should probably, call the cops, maybe call the military, call the president, maybe call in NASA. I don't even know what you do because this guy's clearly not human. He's an alien.
To his mouth, chewing and swallowing. By the time the announcer and the champion recover from their shock enough to move again, the trophy is completely gone, vanished into the stranger's belly.
That's gross.
After a day of seemingly impossible feats of feasting, the sight of this strange man consuming a truly impossible meal of metal is just too much for the already anxious crowd to take. The arena erupts into absolute chaos as people spill out of their seats en masse, fleeing the area. The champion, however, does not turn and run. He feels robbed of his victory.
Oh my gosh, he's gonna try to fight
in an utterly bizarre fashion.
No,
he won't
dude.
stand for this kind of disrespect.
Why in a million years would you go up to somebody as crazy as the dude that just ate your trophy in like 3 bites? He's clearly psychotic, right? Like, you should probably steer clear of people like that. Just, you know, I don't want to tell you what to do and how to live your life, but you should definitely not approach people that eat metal trophies. That is something that I will live my life by from this day forward.
He has trained all year for this moment, only to watch his trophy be eaten right in front of him.
There's always more trophies.
He marches right up to the stranger and pokes him in the chest, demanding to know who he thinks he is. What gives him the right to crash the hot dog eating contest, interrupt the proceedings, and upstage his victory by chowing down on the trophy? The man doesn't answer him, so the champion continues to berate him,
stop.
wagging his
Get your
in
finger
his
away
face.
from his mouth.
The stranger's eyes
No,
follow the
dude,
finger,
what are you
and
thinking?
slowly he opens his mouth. There is a sudden shock, and the
No, it's
champion
just tomatoes.
screams,
It's
holding
just
his hand
ketchup,
to his
right?
chest, using his shirt to
Oh,
stem the bleeding.
no.
He turns to run with the rest of the crowd, but it's too late. The stranger's hand clamps down on his shoulder, holding him in place with a surprising strength. The only thing he sees before his life is snuffed out is the stranger's wide-open mouth before everything goes dark.
That's
with another
really
sickening
scary.
chomp.
It's like a
All
human
the while,
snake.
The crowd's terror rises to a fever pitch at the horrible sight. They trample each other as they scramble to vacate the area, shoving strangers and loved ones alike out of the way.
Dude,
in a bid to
this is a
escape
head
this
scratcher.
mysterious equal opportunity omnivore.
I don't even know
with
what
an
you do.
appetite for far more than just hot dogs. Some manage to escape, running far enough from the arena that they can stop to catch their breaths and glance back at the ones who were not so lucky. Those who tripped and fell in the madness, who had the wind knocked out of them by an elbow to the gut from one of their neighbors, those with weak ankles or who hadn't tied their shoes carefully enough. All of these poor, unfortunate souls are next on the menu for the stranger. He devours them one by one.
This is
rarely
gross.
even
I don't
stopping to
like
chew.
this.
As one surviving woman watching from a distance pulls out her phone to call 911,
Well, yeah.
she can't escape noticing the parallels to the contest itself. The way the stranger eats with a singular focus on consuming as much as possible.
That is a
There's no
human
pause
leg.
to enjoy the meal, but there is no sadism or malice in the act either. Just the sheer, undeniable drive to keep eating. The woman's call to the police is one of the strangest moments of her life and utterly baffles the local police department. Ma'am, please calm down. One officer repeats.
I am a little bit worried too because earlier they mentioned that the SCP like had some weird superhuman strength. So even if they do like bring the police there, are they going to be able to stop him? That's something that I don't think so, especially because usually SCPs, like they're supernatural in the way that they behave. So if I had to guess, he's probably super strong. He probably is like practically invincible, and there's nothing that's going to stop him from eating everything and everyone in sight.
Again and again. What do you mean there's a man eating people? I mean exactly what I said, she shouts. A man showed up at the hot dog contest and started eating people. Please, you have to do something.
It sounds like a prank
I
call.
think this is above our pay grade, miss. Another officer chimes in. You think we should call, the first officer trails off. Who?
The
woman
SCP
demands,
Foundation.
But the line goes dead before she can ask another question. The police are clearly no help, and she isn't about to stick around and see just how big this stranger's appetite is. She tried to save the others, but now she needs to save herself. She
Yes,
runs all the way
get out of
home
there.
without another glance back. Meanwhile, the local police did make that mysterious call, and an SCP Foundation mobile task force is currently en route to the scene.
Oh, nice.
By the
Okay,
time
good.
They arrive, the park is a ghost town, with nothing but the blood-stained grass and abandoned arena to suggest that something horrible ever
Is the
happened here at
SCP
all.
gone?
But these aren't some bumbling local police officers who have no idea what to do with a man-eating anomaly. This team has seen enough bizarre sights to fill a lifetime, and another lifetime after that. They spy a trail of sticky red footprints leading away from the arena. At first, they assume that the substance is blood, but a closer examination reveals
Ketchup.
that it is, in fact, ketchup. They track the savory footprints
They
away from the
tasted
scene
it?
of the day's unsavory events, following them to a nearby warehouse. Judging from the scattered wooden beams, rustling metal, and boarded-up windows, this place has been abandoned for some time.
Interesting.
Perfect place for an anomaly to hide away.
That is the
They
home
weren't
of
certain.
Mr.
The
Hungry.
sound of someone inside biting through sheets of metal is plenty of indication that this is the right place. With no time to waste, they break down the door of the warehouse, weapons drawn and ready. They follow the sound of the chewing, splitting up to apprehend the subject from all available directions. The shriek of tearing metal echoes
Where
through
is
the building,
he?
bouncing off the walls and creating a cacophony that is difficult to track. They do their best to follow the sound, but quickly veer off in separate directions in an attempt to cover as much ground as possible. One operative confronts the stranger just as he is reaching for
there
another
he is.
piece of metal. He watches as the man takes a massive bite out of the steel, a bite that should have shattered his teeth and broken his jaw.
Oh, he just ripped apart steel, bro. I thought only jet fuel could melt steel beams, but apparently this guy's teeth, it's basically jet fuel. That is crazy.
Instead, a cartoonish bite mark is taken out of the metal. He approaches the stranger, who, upon locking eyes with him, begins to shake his head, still chewing. The MTF operative ignores this visual cue, approaching the man and attempting to physically restrain him. This, like the confrontation with the champion before, is cut off with a fateful chomp, and the operative
why
screams
would you
ringing out
touch
through the
him?
warehouse.
I thought this SCP whole squadron, like they've seen anomalies before, and you would think that they probably know, don't get too close to an SCP because that could happen.
Alerting his teammates to his unfortunate fate. The screams suddenly go silent, and another MTF operative stops cold, listening as the sound of chewing draws nearer and nearer. He spins around to face the presence behind him and spots the stranger standing there. The otherwise ordinary man is polishing off the tip of a steel beam, grimacing as he swallows it.
That's
The
gross,
operative
dude.
lifts his weapon, pointing it at the subject. The operative tells him to stand down and come quietly. The hungry man pleads, wide-eyed, for the operative to turn and run while he still can.
Huh?
He takes small, reluctant steps toward the operative.
Okay, so it seems like the SCP himself is maybe just a normal guy, and he has the insatiable need to keep eating. Like, he can't stop himself.
Muttering that he can't stop.
Yeah.
The operative brandishes his weapon again, barking another order for the man to stop.
Is he gonna eat the bullets?
Before he can make another move, the stranger snatches the weapon out of his hand, opens his mouth.
Are you kidding me? How, as an SCP like SEAL Team 6, how, as a SCP soldier, are you gonna let an SCP get close enough to grab your gun? Like, these guys clearly aren't trained. My 95-year-old grandmother knows you just pull the trigger when some crazy dude is walking at you. Hold up, ladies and gentlemen. Did you guys get your cookie plushie yet? Because if you guys didn't check them out yet, make sure you guys scan this QR code right here. Or you guys can head over to BeckBroJack.co. You guys are definitely gonna wanna go quick because my brother Dirt Boy already bought 300 of them from the last time that I saw you. So if you guys want one, you should go get one. Back to the video.
And swallows it. He winces as he does.
Ew.
He does not stop. until the weapon
It's
is
like a magic
completely
trick.
devoured. All at once, he lets out a loud belch. His knees buckle.
I wonder
and he
what his
slumps to
poops
the
are
ground.
like.
He rubs his stomach, wipes his brow, and sighs heavily. I'm so sorry about that. I was just so hungry I couldn't help it.
Oh.
The man shakes his head sadly. I hope you can get a new weapon. And I'm sorry about your friend, too.
Oh, wow.
You said you couldn't help it. Why'd you stop? The stranger shrugs, sighs again, and simply says, well, because I was full. After
Oh.
a bit of convincing,
So
and
he
a test
can
confirming
be
the subject's
full.
strength and bite force has returned to ordinary human levels, the
What?
remaining mobile task force agreed to bring him into Foundation custody unharmed, though restrained. They pile into one of the SCP Foundation's trademark unmarked vans and set off toward the nearest Foundation site. About 1 hour into the trip, the subject begins to lament his growling stomach, asking
Oh,
if they can
no.
possibly stop somewhere for a bite to eat. Ordinarily, this is against protocol, but after what happened to their teammate, the task force members
Yeah.
aren't taking any chances.
You should probably
They
give
pull
him all
into
the
a fast
food that he
drive-thru
needs.
and permit the subject to order whatever he wants. They'll declare it as a business expense later. 5 burgers, 5 fries, 5 tacos, 5
Wow.
pies, 5 cokes, 10 tater tots, 10 tenders,
What?
5 steaks, 5 pancakes, 5 jalapeno poppers, and
What?
5 baked potatoes later. The task force
That's like what my brain wants to order every time that I'm hungry, but obviously no human could eat that much food.
successfully reached the Foundation site with their newest subject, SCP-913. SCP-913 appears to be an average African-American man around middle age. Though his appearance is completely ordinary, his metabolism is unnaturally fast. He requires the recommended daily caloric intake for an average human being every 2 hours and has an unusually high internal temperature, though the specific number has been redacted from his official file.
Interesting.
If he does not meet his calorie requirement for a given 2-hour period, he will enter a trance state in which he is unable to control himself.
Yeah, okay.
In this state, he will break down and ingest any solid matter in his line of sight.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of Shy Guy. How Shy Guy is kind of just like a normal dude, at least that has like superhuman strength and looks kind of weird, and is just really shy. And if you look at Shy Guy, he literally can't help it, and he will come and he'll kill you. And it kind of seems like this guy's in like the same boat where he doesn't want to do it, but he kind of has to do it in order for him to satiate like the hunger that he has. He has to eat stuff until he's full again.
This includes matter that would ordinarily be indigestible, including wood, plastic, and metal.
That's
In this
disgusting.
state, his appetite does not distinguish between living and non-living subjects. When he is in this hunger-driven state, he is aware of all his actions, but cannot stop himself, even when he eats dense materials that cause him extreme discomfort. If this state hits while the subject is sleeping, he will be forced awake. In addition to his anomalous appetite, SCP-913 can rend objects at an estimated force of 3,000 newtons and can bite objects with an estimated force of 5,000 newtons when eating them. Whenever he is not in his trance state, he cannot replicate this strength. An examination of SCP-913's liver tissue showed that it is capable of producing new enzymes in response to foreign material, allowing his body to digest matter that should be highly dangerous to consume.
So
These
he has
enzymes
metal
metabolize
poops.
the substrate at an efficiency of approximately 98%, detoxifying any drugs or toxins consumed by the subject during the hunger state or otherwise. This includes, but is not limited to, amnestics and anesthetics.
Interesting. So he can't be poisoned, he can't be drugged, his body will just, just get out all of the toxins.
13 was first discovered. He was wearing a shirt and dress pants, both with the brand name Doctor's Orders sewn onto their tags. SCP-913 has no tattoos aside from one on his right calf, which reads Mr. Hungry. From Little Misters by Dr. Wondertainment.
Okay, so this guy was clearly experimented on, and he was created by whoever Dr. Wondertainment is.
Just in case you aren't aware, the Little Misters are a line of humanoid anomalies created by the mysterious Dr. Wondertainment Corporation, including the fish-headed Mr. Fish, candy-coated Ms. Sweetie, and Mr. Life and Mr. Death.
I've never heard of these.
Bit as existentially upsetting as he sounds. The purpose of these creations is currently unknown, though, like many Dr. Wondertainment products, their existence invites endless speculation. SCP-913 must be contained in a customized humanoid containment cell lined with 1-meter-thick carbon steel. 913 is to be provided standard furnishings for his containment cell, coinciding with the usual necessities for a comfortable humanoid dwelling. He may be given pre-recorded entertainment materials, such as concerts, films, and television shows upon request.
Even though he's in prison, he has some luxuries like music, television, cell phones, and probably unlimited food. So, kind of sounds pretty nice.
The cell may be accessed via a reinforced carbon steel door. Once every 2 hours, SCP-913 is provided with one nutritional supplement as specified in Document 913-2. I attempted to locate a copy of 913-2 for further details on said nutritional supplement, but access to it appears to be limited to researchers assigned to SCP-913.
Really? Interesting.
While
so we
the
don't know what he
subject is
eats.
sleeping, nutrition is provided to SCP-913 via a central venous catheter that must be changed once every 3 months. These measures allow SCP-913 to receive the calories that he needs to avoid entering a hunger state, ensuring the safety of everyone on site, as well as his own comfort. Like the rest of the Little Misters, SCP-913 presents a puzzle that may never be solved. I could spend my limited time on this Earth wondering why Dr. Wondertainment would create a being that seems to serve no purpose other than eating as much as possible.
Yeah, that's so random.
Lest he unwillingly destroy the environment around him.
He's like an X-Men with a really stupid superpower.
But I believe that would be a waste of time. Why does Dr. Wondertainment do anything that they do? Why create a woman who can turn men into candy soldiers? Why create an ordinary man with a fish head, a tiny top hat, and a Boston accent?
That was so
The personal
funny.
motivations of Dr. Wondertainment, whether they are an individual or a massive conglomerate, are as inscrutable to me as the meaning of life itself.
That SCP wasn't as bad as I thought it'd be, but this next one will make you never want to sit in your car, like, ever again.
Desolate stretch of highway somewhere in New Mexico. There's nothing out here except for you, your car, and the road.
They always start out so
What
spooky.
you don't know is that you're about to encounter something. Something terrifying.
Of
There's no
course.
moon.
Okay, this is going to
The
be a Keter
sky is
class
pitch
for
black.
sure.
Your own car is barely lighting up the dark road ahead of you. Just then, you spot something in your rearview mirror.
It's not going to be a
It's a pair of
car.
headlights. There's nothing too strange about them. except that they are
Oh,
especially
boys.
bright. Your eyes are so adjusted to the darkness that you have to look away. When you glance in the mirror again, you see that they're closer. Much closer.
Somebody has their high
They
beams
must be
on.
going awfully fast. You don't know why, but something about the car behind you makes you feel uneasy.
Yeah, maybe it's the fact that they have massively overpowered
Maybe you
headlights.
can keep some distance from them.
Speed up.
The lights keep getting closer.
Oh, no,
As you
no,
speed up a
no.
little more. Still, they gain on you, growing bigger and bigger in your rearview mirror. You're getting nervous. They look like they are barreling right towards you. You floor it. The lights are able
Go,
to
go,
keep
go,
up
go, go,
easily,
go.
though.
How?
And now, they're right on your tail. No matter how fast you go, they stay right behind you. The
That
lights
is
are
so
bright and
weird.
close that they're almost blinding. You're in a full-blown panic. What is going on? Now the lights are swerving back and forth behind you. What do they want? You take a sharp turn without indicating, but they follow you without difficulty.
Okay, that's the
You keep your
creepiest
foot
part.
Smashed down on the accelerator. Your engine is screaming, but they just get closer and closer. They're
Oh,
right on
guys,
your
I'm getting
bumper.
creeped out.
The bright white lights burn your eyes so bad that you swat at the rearview mirror to point it down. You look up just in time to see the
Whoa!
deer standing in the middle of the road. You slam on your brakes as
Wait, guys, is the deer a part of the SCP? Are they working together? Somehow, does the SCP control the deer? I need answers to this.
hard as you can. Your tires squeal loudly in the night, and you brace yourself to both hit the deer and get rear-ended from behind. You stop inches from the deer as something incredible happens.
The deer didn't
Two
even move.
headlights seem to split,
Huh?
passing by you on either side of your car.
It
You and the
wasn't
deer
a
lock
car?
eyes for a split second, as if you're both thinking, "What was that?" Before the deer hops away into the night. You don't know what's happening, but you're not going to wait around to find out. You throw the car in reverse and hit the gas.
Okay, guys, I want you to comment down below what you would do in that particular situation. I mean, at the start, I would probably, if I am on a road in the middle of the desert, and somebody is riding my butt, I would probably tell them to like pass. Like usually if you're driving, you could be like, hey, if you want to speed, you could go in front of me. And I would start with that. And then if they didn't do that, then I would get really creeped out. I would probably call my mom and have my mom come pick me up because my mom would fight them. But if that doesn't work, and then I kept going faster and the headlights split and swerved around me, I would probably think that it's like two motorcycles that were riding next to each other and they're just being weird, like playing a prank on me. And then they dodged me at the very last second. But if it wasn't that, I guess, I don't know, maybe the SCP literally is just like a light that flies around. I have no idea what it looks like yet, so I'm kind of curious to see.
Before whipping it around 180 degrees. You can't remember how far the last town was, but there's no chance you're going in the direction of those lights. You drive as fast as you can, checking your mirror constantly to see if anything is behind you.
Oh, if
Nothing.
they come back, I am going to
darkness.
freak out, boys.
You're finally safe. No, they're
Nope,
right in front
nope,
of you.
nope.
The lights
Oh,
somehow
no.
appear out of nowhere, right in front of your car. You turn the wheel hard to avoid a head-on collision, and you go flying off the road, smashing
no.
your head against the window.
Oh,
as the
dude.
car goes flipping and rolling and tumbling. The car comes to a stop.
He should have just
feet off the
smashed
road,
them.
upside down, with a lone blinking turn signal dimly lighting up the surrounding field. A single headlight approaches the car.
Just
But
a
it's not
single
moving
one.
like a vehicle. It's moving like an animal.
Oh my
You're
gosh,
concussed from the
what
accident,
is
and
this
your vision
thing?
is starting to fade. The last thing you see is a second light approaching. The next morning, the local sheriff
That's
is
it?
investigating the scene of a single car accident. Curiously, there's no body. Just
Oh
a few scraps of
my
clothing and a
God.
pair of tennis shoes sitting neatly in the upside down.
Guys, I just got goosebumps all over my body. So whatever this SCP is, it went over and it either A, ate whoever that guy was, or B, it kidnapped the guy and like brought it back to its lair. I don't know exactly how smart this SCP is. Some of them are kind of just like animalistic in nature. Like they kind of just do the things that they got to do to survive and get food. So it could be that where they just ate the guy just to survive, or B, they have some weird sinister plans and they have like a lair, and it's a lot more intelligent than we think. Unlike me, I have 2 brain cells.
Roof of the car. Strangest, though, are the childlike handprints all over the dirty car door.
Childlike handprints?
The sheriff doesn't know what to think.
That's weird.
What the sheriff doesn't know is that he has just come upon the aftermath of an SCP-745 attack.
What?
A strange...
Okay, all right. That's what we've been watching this entire time. That is insane, dude. That looks like the Pixar lamp had a child with like a velociraptor. What the actual flip? That is crazy. And obviously, it's a carnivore. Look at those teeth. They are the sharpest teeth. It basically has like dinosaur T-Rex teeth. So you know for a fact that dude is dead. That dude is deader than dead on a Tuesday morning. And the weirdest part is its mouth like isn't even on its face. It's like on its neck, which is just even more creepy.
Strange and mysterious creature known as the headlights.
SCP-745 that makes sense. It looks like headlights.
The SCP Foundation has given to a bipedal nocturnal predator whose hunting grounds are an abandoned stretch of highway in northern New Mexico. SCP-745's most distinctive feature by far is its head.
Well, yeah, it's not the tail.
Is a bloated sack of translucent skin. There are no visible sensory organs present on the head, nor does it appear to have a solid skull. And the creature's brain can be directly seen through the semi-transparent skin, which is covered in a web of bioluminescent organs.
So if that guy, when the headlights were running at him, if he just ran them over, he probably would have been okay. Instead, obviously, he thought it was a car, which would be way worse if you're, coming into a headfirst collision with another car. You're probably going to die. But if he knew that these were actually just like dinosaur Pixar lamps, then maybe he could have survived.
These organs are capable of producing a steady output of light that's been measured between 1400 to 3200 lumens, which is the equivalent of bright xenon gas headlights.
Right, okay.
The entity has been observed to have the ability to change the color of this light.
Okay, that's really cool.
Flash it in specific patterns.
I need this for my gaming setup.
It engages in this behavior as a way to defend itself, and potentially may also use it as a way to communicate with other members of...
Also, guys, are you seeing this right now? It looks like this creature has more arms than... Okay, wait. Does it? I'm kind of confused. The arms are looking really weird. Like, I didn't realize that they could put their arms out to the side, so it kind of looks like they're wings. But the one on the left, I don't know. Like, the legs kind of look like feet, and the feet kind of look like hands, and I'm very, very confused.
Of its species. The rest of SCP-745's body is covered in skin that is a deep, dark, black color that almost seems to absorb light. This quality, when paired with their blindingly bright head protrusion, gives the appearance of a floating point of light in the darkness.
Whoa.
Because SCP-745 entities hunt almost exclusively in pairs, with their preferred hunting grounds being remote sections of highway, they are easily mistaken for oncoming or approaching headlights. Two SCP-745 entities are able to move together in perfect synchronicity, running in tandem at speeds up to 180 kilometers per hour. Together,
are you joking?
Lone vehicles that they spot on the highway, and will begin to chase or run straight towards them.
I'm also kind of curious, guys. They've mentioned that this SCP can change colors of the light that's on its forehead, but can it like turn off the light if it wanted to? That would be really overpowered because it could basically just like disappear at a moment's notice, especially if it hunts at night and the entire body is pitch black. I guess they could make the light black, but that probably wouldn't work. Honestly, you would still be able to see it. So if they could turn off the light, that would be just even more deadly.
Giving the unlucky driver the impression that a fast-moving car is rapidly approaching them. After they near the targeted car, they will attempt to stop it by any means necessary, whether by simply forcing the driver to pull over out of fear, or by running them off the road completely. Once their prey has stopped, crashed, or become otherwise incapacitated, the pair will stop moving together and approach the car separately to directly assault and then consume the vehicle's occupants.
Okay, so he did get eaten.
No remains are left following an attack, save for a few scraps of clothing in the victim's shoes. Other than the damage sustained during the accident, there is never any other sign of struggle or forced entry, with the only other evidence left at the scene being the childlike handprints from SCP-745's small front paws.
Interesting, okay.
Strangely, analysis of SCP-745's genetic structure has revealed that unlike humans, they are not a carbon-based life form, meaning it is unlikely that they are able to derive any nutrition from the consuming of human flesh.
They're just doing it for fun?
Then that they may be hunting solely for sport or some other form of perverse enjoyment.
What?
This question remains unanswered, as currently there are no recorded observations of SCP-745 feeding in the wild.
Well, yeah, that kind of makes sense considering that there was a deer in the road that they could have easily captured and eaten if they wanted to, but they obviously did not. And they ran this dude off the road in his vehicle and apparently killed him not because they needed to eat, but because they did it for fun, which is 10 times scarier.
As successful attacks have never left any witnesses.
Wow.
And specimens captured by the SCP Foundation refused to eat it all. No layers, nests, or other refuge of SCP-745 has ever been found.
So they're basically
Nor has
aliens.
the Foundation located any breeding grounds or young examples of the entity. It's unknown how or if they reproduce, or when they may have first appeared. What is known is that they had established a wide hunting territory across the American Southwest until Foundation teams began a program to thin their numbers in the 1960s.
1968.
The effort appears to have been successful so far, and all recent sightings of SCP-745 have been limited to a specific stretch of highway in northern New Mexico.
Okay, if you guys are there, just be on the lookout, you know.
Has been classified as Euclid, and in order to limit potential exposure to civilians, the Foundation has purchased the land surrounding the highway, with
That's
traffic
smart.
being redirected to other roads. Foundation security teams disguised as highway patrol officers are to remove any trespassers or lost travelers who accidentally find themselves on the dangerous stretch of highway. The security teams are also tasked with attempting to capture any instances of SCP-745
How?
that they can.
Oh, with a net.
And any recovered creatures, live or dead, are to be loaded into Class 3 BCU storage containers and transferred to Site 17 for further study.
Let's check this
Down on
out.
the plunger, and moments later, a huge explosion rocks the quarry. When the dust clears, the 3 quarry workers look on at the pile of rocks that they'll now spend the next days and weeks hauling out. But then, they spot something strange. There in the newly exposed rock face is an opening. The 3 men stand at the mouth
cave,
of the previously
if you
hidden
will.
cave. They poke their heads inside, but it's too dark to see much of anything, except for the fact that the tunnel in the rock stretches on for at least a few meters before it turns and prevents them from seeing any further. One of the quarry workers slaps his coworker on the back and dares him to go inside and check it out. No way, he tells him as he pulls his hand back from feeling inside the cave wall, his palm now coated in a sickly slime. It's gross in there.
What?
The other 2 laugh at him. If they think they're so brave, why don't the 2 of them go check it out? The 2 men stop laughing and look at each other. Who could have ever foreseen the tables turning on them like this?
Okay, that's hysterical. Anyway, guys, I like to make predictions in these SCP videos, and my prediction based off of the thumbnail and what we just saw is, first off, I think that this SCP can easily infect anybody, and once you're infected, it seems like you could spread whatever this SCP is. It seems like it might be like a chest burster, kind of like from the Alien franchise, where once you're infected, it'll live inside of you and then like burst out of your chest, which is not good. And it also seems like this SCP might take over caves or like maybe houses or other enclosed areas. And then, I don't know, but based off the way that the walls were really slimy, it seems like the entire cave might be the SCP. But let's go ahead and watch the rest to find out.
They're not going to back down. One of the 2 takes out a flashlight, and they step into the cave while the 3rd waits outside. He watches as the 2 of them head deeper into the cave, disappearing behind the bend. Inside the cave, the floor is just like the walls, coated with some kind of substance making it wet, but also a little sticky. They half expected the cave to end right around the bend, but now they can see that it continues on. Not only is there another turn several meters ahead of them, but as they head deeper in, they find that there are branching paths too. This might just be the start of a vast cave system. There's no telling how far or how deep it might go. They better head back to the entrance before they get lost. The 2 turn around to start heading back towards the entrance.
Okay, I have a feeling that the cave might close on them. That's how the SCP traps people inside of it. It's kind of like a Venus flytrap, that once you're in, it closes the entrance and then you're stuck there forever.
But wait, what was that? They spin around. It sounded like there was a noise behind them. But there's nothing there, just the empty passageway. They must be hearing things. They really should get out of here quickly, though. Come on, let's go. As they turn to leave, though, something happens. With a sickening squishing sound,
I called it!
The tunnel constricts, closing up
Oh
between
my
them.
god.
He runs towards the now closed passage and starts slapping at the moist, soft wall.
Ew, dude.
There's no response. But then he does hear something. Was that a scream? He's realized something else, too. Even though his friend had the flashlight, he can still see.
Okay, that's weird.
The walls themselves seem to be producing a small amount of light.
How?
He yells out that he's going to get help and that his friend should hold tight and not move. He'll get him out of there. He has no idea if he can hear him, though. He starts to slowly make his way back the way he thinks they came, but the cave feels different. He's taking turns that he doesn't remember making on their short trip. He should be at the entrance already, and there seem to be more branching paths than there were before.
Oh my gosh, guys, I think he's either in the mouth or the stomach of the SCP. Because based off of the name, it's called Somewhere in Between. So it seems like after you go into this cave, which isn't actually a cave after all, maybe you're transported into like an alternate dimension of sorts, which is the SCP. Kind of like how the Old Man SCP has like a pocket dimension, or SCP-001, the prototype, can also like teleport and go into this like pocket dimension. Maybe it's kind of similar to that once you cross into this SCP, you're trapped in whatever this dimension is, somewhere in between, until maybe there's a way out, maybe there's not, or maybe you're trapped there forever.
It's hard to tell in the low light, though. Maybe he's just confused. He's hearing noises, too. Wet, writhing sounds. He's got to get out of here. The quarry worker reaches a fork in the tunnel and has no idea which is the right way to go. He doesn't remember this at all.
Oh, I'm scared.
The tunnel, but there's no answer to his cries.
He just screamed, "Oh! Oh!" He didn't even say like, "Help! Yo, help! I'm trapped!" Or, "Hey, somebody come get me!" All he said was, "Oh!" Sorry, I don't know why I thought that was funny.
He hears more of those wet, slapping sounds behind him, though.
I don't like
He's got
it.
to keep moving.
I'm scared.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. The left tunnel it is.
Okay.
He goes down his chosen path, rounds a corner, and sees another fork. What is going on here? He's got to pick, though. Eeny, meeny, miny. He screams as something leaps out of the tunnel at him.
Huh?
Outside the cave, the quarry worker is growing nervous.
Don't
He's
go
gotten
in,
a
dude.
flashlight of his own
Do
and shines
not
it down
go
the tunnel,
in.
But he can't see any more than they could before. He calls out, asking if they're all right. But he's met only with silence. He turns around behind him at the empty quarry. They're the only ones working on the site that day. And if they don't get back to work soon, there's going to be some angry questions about why they spent the day horsing around inside of the cave.
That's the least of their worries.
He hates the idea. He's got to go in there and get them
No,
out.
what are you doing, dude?
He enters the cave and goes around the first bend. He too notices how oddly sticky and slimy every surface is. But he has to press on. Maybe they were hurt and needed his help.
Guys, I understand why he's doing this. However, that seems like a very weird cave to investigate, right? There's like slime on the walls and it feels like, I don't know, something's off, right? It's like a nest or a stomach or a mouth. There's no cave that really should look like that. So first off, I am very surprised that they went in at the start. Secondly, that dude, before even going into the cave, you need to call for help, because if he gets trapped, then nobody is going to know where to come look for them. So he should have called somebody or like gone and grabbed more people so that they could have actually helped. But since he went in by himself, I don't think this is going to end well.
He rounds another bend and spots something. A pair of legs sticking out from around the next turn. His friend must really have been hurt.
But what if it's not his
He
friend?
runs towards his injured coworker and kneels down next to him.
Oh, it might be.
It looks
Oh, it
like
is.
he's passed out on the ground, and he tries to shake him awake. Are you okay? What happened? His friend moans a bit, but doesn't even open his eyes. He moans again, and this time blood starts pouring out of his mouth.
Oh no, he's
The
infected.
quarry worker steps back, scared at the sight of his friend's state. That's when he notices something. His friend's stomach.
God.
It's moving. He leans in close. He can see bumps
Oh,
swelling and moving around his
no.
abdomen. Is that?
We all know what's going to happen now. Okay. Oh,
The SCP
God.
Foundation soon learned of the troubling reports and moved quickly to purchase the quarry and the surrounding lands.
Okay, good.
Those who had seen or heard rumors about the missing workers were amnesticized, and all further access to the area around the quarry was strictly controlled.
So basically, everybody that was working there, they said, hey, you're fired, go work somewhere else. Also, they did like the Men in Black memory wipe so that nobody knows that the quarry is even there, which is for the best because you don't want anybody coming back to try to, get trapped in the cave again.
The cave itself that had been unearthed was designated SCP-2385, but the Foundation needed to learn just what they were dealing with. So after a research outpost was constructed over the entrance, the investigation into what was happening inside this strange anomalous cavern system could finally begin.
That's gross.
The first to enter the cave is D11424, a Class D personnel, who is equipped with a shoulder-mounted camera, a Ruger LC9 pistol, a machete, and 1 week's worth of rations, since it was unknown just how vast this cave system may be. D11424 proceeds into the cave and immediately reports back the same conditions that the workers had experienced, that the surfaces of the cave were soft, wet, and a little sticky.
So I guess the guy that found his friend must have escaped, right? Because if he didn't, they wouldn't even know about this, since they were the only 3 people there. So he probably escaped. Whatever happened to the other guy, I guess we probably don't know.
And also that they seem to have an almost imperceptible glow. D11424 moves deeper into the cave, but sees no sign of the missing workers, despite one of their bodies having been reported as being lost relatively close to the entrance. He's ordered to continue deeper into the cave, and radios back that the walls weren't stable. He would pass by openings in the walls that would seal off once he was past. On more than one occasion, he saw new passages open up as well.
Guys, that sound is
These
just
didn't appear to be caused
makes
by
me
collapses
sick.
or other geological activity. The walls seemed like they were alive. But the walls were the only sign of life he could find. There was still no evidence of the missing workers or whatever might have gotten them. But then, after D11424 rounds a corner, he sees that something is up ahead of him. It's not one of the workers.
It's a worm?
And one that looks like nothing he has ever seen before.
What?
The thing crawling on the floor of the cave looks like a giant worm, several feet in length, but with a grotesque, skinless human head.
Oh, dude, that thing is
D11424,
grimy.
frightened at the sight of this
Oh
grotesque
my
creature,
goodness.
turns to
Run. Yeah.
The worm has spotted him.
Ew,
and
dude,
charges at him
it's missing a
immediately,
tooth.
slithering across the wet cave floor at an incredible
Oh,
speed.
wow.
D11424 slips and falls to the ground. His shoulder-mounted camera knocked off his body and left facing a wall, leaving the researchers monitoring the feed with nothing except the sound of his screams.
So he was definitely
Once contact
infected.
was lost with the Class D personnel, the Foundation decided that due to the presence of hostile creatures within the cave system, that the next exploratory expedition
Guys, I don't know if you heard that, but he said creatures, as in there might be multiple of these creatures inside of the cave.
would be undertaken without humans. The mission was authorized, and 2 months later,
that's smart.
a remote-controlled drone designated A47 was sent into the cave.
They should have added a K so that it could have been an AK-47 so that it could have gone in there and shot everything.
Just like D11424 and the quarry workers before saw, its camera captures passageways opening and closing in the living rock walls. As it
why does it do
deeper,
that?
It eventually spots the same worm-like creatures with horrible human faces.
There's
that
so
look like
many
they've
of
had
them.
Their skin removed, which have now been designated by the Foundation as SCP-2385-1 entities. And A47 soon discovers a surprising fact about these bizarre organisms. They appear that they are being birthed right from the walls of the cave itself.
Okay, so the walls of the cave, we knew that they were slimy, but like, it seems like that's where they're being born from. So it's like the walls are pregnant and they're giving birth to ugly earthworm babies.
As A47 enters one of those largest rooms yet seen in the cave, its camera captures over a dozen 2385-1s growing out of the walls and ceiling in various stages of maturity.
That is gross.
Some of them snap at A47 as it passes by,
that's
trying
weird.
to attack the drone, but luckily they're unable to reach. There's larger examples of the worms in the room too, and these ones also differ in appearance slightly, with a fibrous growth over their eyes.
What?
The researchers assume that these entities are different enough from the smaller versions that they warrant their own classification, and are designated as SCP-2385-2 entities. Luckily for A47, these larger specimens, which can be as large as 4 meters in length, seem much more docile than their smaller
That is
counterparts,
massive.
and ignore A47 as it passes by. A47 then learns another shocking piece of information about these disturbing worm-like creatures. They're cannibalistic.
What?
Its camera relays footage back to the research team of a 2385-1 entity feeding on another, smaller
So like while they're in the cave, they're basically just playing Slither.io. That's what's happening.
one. It appears that they eat their prey whole after unhinging their grotesque jaws. The one feeding tries to lash out at A47 with its tail, but can't reach him with half of another instance in its mouth, and the drone continues deeper into the cave. Just when A47 enters the next chamber, A 2385-1 instance growing out of the ceiling drops down right in front of it.
Hello.
Leaving no way for the drone to get around it in the narrow section of cave.
Excuse me, sir.
A47 quickly turns around to seek out another path, but its camera captures the passage closing in front of it.
It's cornered.
A47 is trapped. The 2385-1 and
Guys, why do I feel emotionally attached to A47? Like, it kind of reminds me of Wall-E, and I don't want it to die right now.
he charges towards the remote-controlled drone and attacks.
No, leave him
biting and
alone!
slapping it with its powerful
Oh my
tail.
gosh, no.
It then attempts to consume
It's just
it,
a robot.
but is
It's
unable
just
to
a
ingest
robot.
the bulky drone and instead leaves the heavily damaged robot for dead, slithering away deeper into the cave. The battered drone lies immobile on the cave floor for several hours.
Sorry,
its camera
A47.
broadcasting until the last of its battery is finally about to run out.
Hey guys, it's me again. You just saw me 2 seconds ago, but if you guys have been watching the video for this long, you guys are now officially members of the Cookie Club. As a member of the Cookie Club, you guys seriously need to get your very own cookie plushie. Like, there's no way you guys have watched this video for over an hour and haven't scanned this QR code right here, or checked out BeckBroJack.co. If you already did it, great. If not, definitely go check it out, and make sure you guys use code Bessie for 10% off. All right, Cookie Club, let's get back to the video.
Just before it stops sending signals back to the research outpost, though, it captures something.
What?
The wall next to A47 opens up, and 2 of the larger SCP-2385-2 entities emerge from the new passageway.
Huh.
One of them approaches A47, as the other probes at the wall next to it with its head.
Okay.
It seems as though the larger of the entities are actually able to form new pathways in the cave, or
So either they're like using mind control to open up the walls, or they're like biting away at the walls, kind of like an earthworm does. It's just making new tunnels.
at least open up doorways between existing ones. With the last of its battery power, A47 sends back a truly remarkable sight. Out of the hole opened by the 2385-2 entity appears D11424.
What?
He's dirty, disheveled,
He lived!
sporting a
He actually, what? He made it out. Are you kidding me, bro? The D-Class personnel actually lived?
month's worth of beard growth and brandishing a machete. The wall opens up from the -2 entity prodding at it, and the odd group exits through it. It's the last thing A47 transmits back to the Foundation.
They have to go get
2
him.
months later, after several more failed manned missions,
2 months
there was finally
later?
a success. An SCP-2385-2 instance that had wandered close to the entrance was retrieved from the cave system and brought
wow,
back
they
to
got
a
it.
Foundation research site where a camera was surgically implanted in its head.
Huh?
The entity, which was designated as Subject Alpha, or SA, was then amnestetized and released back into the 2385 caves, allowing researchers
gosh.
to monitor how it behaved as it traveled through its home environment.
Oh, that's so
Researchers
strange.
watched as SA made its way through the cave system and stopped in another of the rooms filled with young versions of 2385-1. The larger entity approached several and appeared to nuzzle its face against theirs before moving on. which
Wait a
looked-
second, so you're telling me like that's the mother of these SCP Earth human worms? Because it seems like sometimes they'll eat each other, but then other times they don't. They actually seem to like nuzzle up and they like the other ones. So like, I don't know, guys. This just keeps getting more creepy by the second.
Looked to have a calming effect on the extremely aggressive smaller versions.
That's so weird.
As it continues through the tunnels, SA sees a group of 2385-1 instances feeding on a deceased 2385-2. It appears that when 2385-1s are unable to swallow their prey whole, they burrow into the body and consume them from the inside out.
Oh, that is
Luckily,
gross.
they are
I
too
did not need to
distracted
know
by their
that.
meal to pay any attention to SA, and it is able to pass by. SA then runs into 2 other 2385-2 entities, and the 3 begin traveling through the caves together. They are
Oh.
soon attacked by a smaller -1, but the
Nice
group
try.
is able to pin the biting and thrashing entity to the ground with their powerful tails, allowing SA to nuzzle it. Just like with the
What?
ones being birthed from the wall, this seems to calm the creature.
So the bigger ones don't seem to want to eat the other ones. Sometimes they want them to like calm down and like act, I don't know, peaceful, which is really weird.
But there is another effect as well. As the 2385-1 entity becomes more docile, the same fibrous growths that can be seen on the larger 2385-2 entities start to grow over its eyes. Is this how 2385-2s are created?
My God, just
The
spilled
group of
coffee
-2s
everywhere.
continues their journey through the tunnels, often stopping to prod at the walls to open new pathways. It appears that they are searching for something, looking around
What?
each new room they enter before moving on. Eventually, they run into something, but it doesn't appear to be what they wanted to find. They enter a new section of cave, and blocking the path in front of them is the largest SCP-2385-1 entity yet recorded. It's as big as the -2s at over 7 meters in length and weighing an estimated 400 kilograms. It appears to be extremely hostile, but
that
the
thing is
-2s seem to
ugly.
instinctively know that the only way forward is to go past this massive -1. The trio nuzzles their heads together as if they are saying one final goodbye before one of the -2s charges straight ahead.
This is
The
so
-1
weird.
attacks and quickly incapacitates it with its powerful tail and snapping jaws. It begins feeding on the -2, giving SA and its one remaining companion the time they need to get past.
This is such a strange SCP. At the start, I was like, okay, these SCPs, they're just bad. They're just bad creatures. And then I thought that they were really bad when they tried to kill the robot, but they also left the D-class personnel alive. And now it seems like these two SCPs are kind of like good. We don't know what they're doing exactly, but they're not eating any of their like other SCPs. And it seems like they can work together, which is just so weird.
As the now duo moves past, the other is attacked from a side tunnel by a group of regular-sized but ferocious -1s.
Oh no, they lost him.
It seems to pick up the pace and continues on, but as
where is it trying to go?
It comes face to face with another large -1 instance. It turns down a side tunnel to avoid it, but finds itself in a dead end. It prods at the wall as the -1 rushes towards it, but no new passageways open. It turns around, seemingly resigned to its fate as the -1 begins attacking.
Oh no.
But just then, something else appears in the tunnel coming towards
D-class
them.
personnel?
It's D11424, charging forward with his machete raised in the air, his hair and beard both long and wild. He
What is this man
begins fighting the
eating?
large -1 entity, hacking at it with
I don't
his
even want to
machete
know.
until it finally dies. With the vicious entity now dead, he kneels down next to SA and begins stroking its head in a calming manner. "Hey there, little guy. You all right?" he asks as he pets the 2385-2. "Yeah, you're fine. Get up. I know where it is. Come with me."
What are they looking for?
Struggles from its injuries, but is able to follow D11424
I'm so confused.
as he leads it through the tunnels, with D11424 stopping at one point to carve a piece off of the fleshy walls and consume it. The tunnels eventually open up into a large room that looks similar to the rest of the cave system.
That's what he's been
except
eating.
There is a huge glowing orb at its center.
What?
It's a beautiful sphere of warm light that
there's
appears
a
to be at
sun?
least 10 meters in diameter. "Here we are," the D-class tells SA and motions towards the orb. "It's all right." SA nuzzles against D11424, perhaps one final thank you for saving its life, then instinctually seems to know what to do. The camera feed shows that it began crawling towards the sphere, and after a brief pause, started pushing itself inside. The camera recorded the brilliant
That's
light
my
of the orb
reaction.
engulfing SA and its implanted camera before the feed finally cut out. The SCP Foundation would later discover that on that very same day, in the city of Elgin, Illinois, a local woman was admitted to the hospital after complaining of abdominal pains. Doctors performed emergency surgery and found something they did not expect.
Oh,
A
what?
micro camera had somehow become embedded inside of her body, which upon later investigations would be found to bear the same serial number as the one that had been implanted in SA.
Their skin burned and lesioned, their lips crusted with dry vomit, their eyes milky and white. This isn't the aftermath of a fight. It's the aftermath of a massacre.
Ooh, okay, that
Nobody
has
here
to
stood a
be
chance against the monster they
SCP-001.
died fighting. And the monster isn't done. An unnatural shadow moves between the houses, skittering on pointed legs like death itself in the night. Perhaps what the Elder said was true. Only an even more dangerous monster could stop a monster such as this.
So I've seen a couple of videos like this in the past where it's kind of like an SCP versus another SCP, and it really is kind of just speculation of which one will end up being more powerful, but they honestly do a lot of research on this channel, so I do trust their opinion. But comment down below what you guys think at the end of today's video, and if you agree with who they think would actually win the battle.
The survivors all converge in one building, shaking with fear and following the single instruction the Elder gave them: keep your eyes closed at all costs. And to think, the village was so peaceful until the demon arrived. It is a small, picturesque place nestled in the lush mountains of Chile, hundreds of years before the world became the connected whole it is today. It is a world where that which exists beyond your borders ought not to exist at all. The people there live quiet and simple lives, herding goats and alpacas, growing crops in the hills, tanning, dyeing, and weaving. They are hardy people, acclimated to the often rough and unforgiving life on the slopes.
That's honestly like how a lot of these SCP videos are. It's kind of just like people like this, just normal everyday people minding their own business, doing their own things. You know, they're doing their work, they're going home to their families. And then out of nowhere, a random crazy psychotic SCP that doesn't abide by the laws and natures of like normal physics kind of just like comes in and destroys absolutely everything. And the fact that in this video, we don't have just one, but we're going to have two SCPs battling, you would think probably to the death, or at least until like one, I don't know, like subdues the other. Like this place is going to be destroyed. I mean, we kind of saw a little bit of it, but yeah, SCPs, especially these SCPs, are, pretty darn destructive, which is unfortunate.
Like most in their time, the people here are ruled by superstition. A firm belief in the existence of gods and monsters beyond the veil. Some would scoff at their faith, call them primitive. But the reality is, an open mind will often catch more truth than a closed one.
That guy definitely knows some stuff.
We all know the truth.
Oh.
There are indeed monsters out there, haunting the dark. Always have been, always will be. The main difference is that now we have an organization on our side. A group prepared to die in that dark so we can live in the light.
So I wonder if this, maybe the events in this video take place before the SCP Foundation was ever even created. Because if it does, they're not going to stand a chance. Because even the SCP Foundation has a really hard time containing a lot of the SCPs that they come across.
The people of back then weren't so lucky.
Oh,
they were forced to confront the gaping jaws and burning eyes of the unknown with no aid.
That's unfortunate for them.
That would soon be turning to the innocent people of this rural, isolated Chilean village. It all began with a missing teenager. The boy was out hunting for game in the forest when his parents realized it had been hours since they'd seen him. As the shadows grow longer and the sky begins to darken, a rescue party forms and ventures out into the wilderness to search for him.
Oh boy.
Armed with clubs, bows, and arrows. The mountains can be a treacherous place, between the harsh terrain and the many dangerous predators who hunt out there too. Little do they know, the boy they are searching for has fallen prey to a new type of predator, one that none of the villagers has ever encountered before. Okay,
so if I had to guess and make a prediction here, I think that SCP-001, aka the prototype, is probably the bad guy in this situation. I've watched a different video about the prototype, and it seems like the prototype, honestly, isn't really a friendly SCP by any means. And the other SCP in this video is 096, also known as Shy Guy. And Shy Guy, even though, if you look at it, it will find you and it will kill you, no matter where you are on planet Earth, or sometimes not even on planet Earth, it will find you and get you. Shy Guy really kind of just minds its own business. And it also seems like Shy Guy is just kind of like the rest of us, just like a normal person, but also just has this incredible power and really is self-conscious and just doesn't want anybody to look at it. But it doesn't seem like it's a bad person. If you leave Shy Guy alone, it's not going to come kill you. But the prototype, on the other hand, even if you aren't around it, or if you just come really unlucky and you come across it, it's going to try to hurt you and murder you and send you to a pocket dimension. It just seems like it's the supervillain SCP, whereas Shy Guy kind of seems like it's pretty neutral. As long as you leave Shy Guy alone, you're pretty much good.
4. It's another few hours before they find him. One of the men in the search party remarks that the boy seemed to have gone far further than he should when hunting. Another replies that perhaps he didn't venture out here at all. Maybe he was dragged. No one honors that with an answer. They keep their heads down and keep searching. The possibility is too frightening to truly consider. If a dangerous creature has made its home in the forests surrounding the village, then all of them are in trouble. Not long after that, they find the missing teenager, injured and unconscious.
Oh, okay, so he's still alive.
With 3 ragged claw marks cut into his chest.
Barely.
The silent thought passes between them. What animal has 3 claws? No animal that they know of. But now is not the time to think of that. They need to wrap the injured boy in blankets before he freezes to death out here or succumbs to his injuries. First, they need to ensure that he survives this. Then, they need to find out what did this to him. Soon, the boy is lying in the home of the town's medicine man, a rudimentary scientific figure with a wide knowledge of herbs and plant-based medicine. But he cannot diagnose the sickness that the boy seems to be experiencing. He has nausea, dizziness, a rattling cough that sometimes produces blood, and his skin is taking an odd, unnatural hue.
He's gonna turn into a
This
zombie.
can't be the result of his injury, the medicine man concludes. The wounds are actually relatively shallow. This malady must have another source. The villagers pray for the boy and leave offerings and sacrifices at their altars for his recovery. But it does no good. Later that same night, he splutters blood and passes away. His
R.I.P.
dying words, heard only by the medicine man, is that there is a monster in the forest, and the most frightening thing of all is that he's right. Over the next few days, it gets worse.
So, guys, if you were in this particular situation, comment down below what you would do. Personally speaking, I would probably evacuate the village. I would get as far away from wherever I saw the SCP, or at least like I knew about the SCP, as possible. I would put as much distance between me and my village, and I'd just book it, because I mean, yeah, stuff like that just really creeps me out. And that's why I don't touch grass, and that's why I stay inside, because it's scary.
Far, far worse. The same mysterious affliction that killed the teenage boy starts to spread across the village, infecting the vulnerable and infirm with deathly sickness. Livestock begins to go missing, or are found dead when the sun rises,
Oh my
cleaved with the same
gosh.
3 deadly razor-sharp claw marks.
Oh, they're all doomed.
And if this wasn't all horrific enough, soon the crops begin to die off.
So they have no
As
food.
though the same sickness
No
that's hurting
livestock.
the people and the animals is
Everybody's
doing the
getting
same for
sick.
them. It's impossible to ignore the reality of the situation now. There is a demon in their midst. and if
Well,
they don't
yeah.
kill it will kill all of them.
How do you kill
The
a
town holds a
demon?
meeting in their square, where it quickly becomes apparent how drastically the town's numbers have dwindled. They are a shadow of their former glory. Some men suggest forming a hunting party to rampage through the forest, find this monster, and kill it. Others wisely bring up that this might leave the village's women and children undefended. What if the creature were to attack while they were all in the forest? It
True.
would mean certain
Good point.
doom. Frightened discourse soon gives way to a heated argument.
Just
People
run.
can become violent when
Everybody
they're afraid,
run.
And when the thing causing their fear is nowhere to be seen, that violence is inevitably channeled toward one another. However, before things can get out of hand, the brewing calamity is quickly ended by the sound of 3 firm taps against the ground. They all turn and see the village
It's
elder, an old
SCP-96.
blind man who uses a gnarled walking cane.
No, not
Crowd
actually.
falls silent. This man commands ultimate respect among the villagers, and for many, his presence has an immediate calming effect. Perhaps he would finally have a solution to this problem. There is a way, he says with a slow, rattling voice.
So I'm curious, does like this guy have some sort of connection with Shy Guy? Honestly, like that would be kind of crazy. He also does have some like weird looking eyeballs. Like I can't tell if he's blind or they're just trying to show that he's old, but I don't know. Like, could this be Shy Guy? Like the first ever version of Shy Guy, and like he transforms himself into the SCP? Probably not, but I don't know. I'm just spitballing. Maybe that's something that could happen. You never know.
What is the way, elder? Asks a younger villager. An ancient guardian spirit that lives in the mountains. I can bring it here, and it may be able to help us.
So he is
There is
friends
one
with
condition,
SCP-96.
One rule, which must be followed at the cost of all others.
Do not look at it,
None of you may gaze upon this spirit.
or else you
You
die.
must keep your eyes closed. If you see it, a horror far worse than the ones we've experienced here will fall upon this village. With the approval of the rest of the village, the elder makes a rough pilgrimage up into the mountains, made even rougher by his age and infirmity. But the safety of his village is at stake.
So I wonder if maybe the town elder is blind, which makes him pretty much invulnerable to SCP-96, because blind people obviously can't look at Shy Guy, which means that Shy Guy doesn't really care about them. Like he's cool with them and they're cool with him, and you know, they could just be friends.
There is nothing he won't sacrifice to see that its existence will be maintained.
Now, who wins the
only thing
actual
he
battle,
carries,
though?
other
That's what
than
I'm
his
curious
walking
about.
stick, is a length of rope. Soon he reaches the mouth of a cave, an ancient cavern cut deep into the flesh of the mountain. He enters. As a blind man, the darkness means nothing to him. The cave is silent at first, but soon he hears something. A quiet, pitiful weeping. That is how he knows he's close to the legendary guardian spirit. The old man has never seen this supposed spirit, but if he did, he would know that it is a long, pale humanoid with grasping hands and a terrible face. He knows the beast is capable of great violence, but he also knows that the beast is not evil, for it takes no pleasure in that violence. The Elder's knowledge of the guardian spirit in the cave had been passed down for generations in his family. He had been told throughout his childhood about how the guardian spirit defended their village in dangerous and desperate times.
I've honestly never heard of an SCP being called like a guardian spirit before. Usually the SCP videos that I see and like the SCP Foundation website that I read about, a lot of people are like scared of them and they're like, do not get close to this SCP. This SCP will like tear out your eye sockets. So it's kind of cool to hear that like they actually think of Shy Guy as this protector that can save them from anything else that comes, like a demon, for example, like the prototype.
When bands of raiders had invaded almost a century ago, the guardian spirit destroyed them. When beasts emerged from the woods, the fear of the guardian spirit warded them off. And here and now, the Elder is certain that the guardian spirit would be able to defeat the demon terrorizing them. He takes the rope and ties it around the weeping monster's neck, forming a makeshift leash. He spoke a soothing incantation and exhaled. "It's time for you to serve us once again, Great Spirit," he said. And so begins the treacherous journey back down the side of the mountain.
Okay, so he definitely has to be blind, because if he wasn't, Shy Guy would have torn him into a million jillion pieces.
But in his absence, back at the village, the situation is deteriorating. Hours have passed, and night is about to fall.
Oh, no.
The demon only attacks at night when they're most vulnerable. Fear has already poisoned the hearts of many of the village's men. They sequester most of the remaining population away in the village's largest home and arm themselves. They have no faith in the Elder's mystic solution. They will find this abomination and kill it themselves. There is no other way. But as they gather in the village square and prepare to lead an assault on the forest, they never would have expected the monster they're hunting to come to them. And in an almighty flash,
there it is.
It appears in front of them.
The prototype.
It's even more horrible than they'd ever imagined. A large, spindly beast with black spikes for legs, an emaciated body, the same 3 black claws that had left those terrible marks on all of its victims. But worst of all,
Ew. It's so gross.
Maw with a huge glowing eye inside.
That's like the worst looking SCP that you could ever imagine. Like literally, if I imagined the most disgusting humanoid creature on planet Earth, I would probably picture this thing. It literally, it's first off, it's giant. It has like huge overgrown nails. It has the skinniest body parts ever. And its face is just like a big booger that has teeth on it.
It is a monster worse than even what their nightmares could conjure. Before they can even attack it, it unleashes a blast of energy that blows back the ones closest to it, leaving them dead or dying, their skin horrifically burnt.
Ew.
Those further back run in to attack the monster, screaming with a fury that they hope will hide their terror. But the monster is far faster than them. It whips out its claws and slashes at them, hitting each one with a deadly kill strike.
Oh, they really need Shy Guy to help now.
Hit on the beast. As the bodies hit the floor, some try to run.
Let the bodies hit the floor.
Late. One person attempting to run suddenly feels a pain in his chest. He freezes in place, and then is simply sucked into himself.
It's the prototype special ability. He can just summon in a black hole wherever he wants.
To understand how this man died would not be developed for centuries. We today would be able to say that the monster, today known as SCP-001, the prototype, created a singularity within the man's body, absorbing him into himself.
Also, guys, I recently learned this from your guys' comments, actually, that SCP-001 isn't the only SCP-001. Like, there's actually hundreds of SCPs with the same name of 001, and technically speaking, like, it's not the first SCP. Like, a lot of people think that they know what the first SCP is. The prototype could be one of them, but, I mean, there's hundreds of SCP-001s. So, yeah, just fun fact for you.
The people cowering inside can hear the screams and the terrible sounds of their fellow villagers, their friends, sometimes even their families, being massacred outside. They believe in the Elder and follow his teachings despite their fear. They keep their eyes forced closed. Some of their strongest men have gone out there to face the monster and had been slain. There is truly nothing they can do except wait and hope. Outside, the creature, the demon that had been the ruin of their village, is the only thing still alive. The many bodies of those slaughtered lay twisted on the ground around it. Then, it begins to hunt. It wants to find the others.
Okay, where
It
the
gurgles
flip
and
is
chitters,
Shy Guy
its
right
leg
now?
making a tack-tack-tack sound on the ground beneath its sharpened points.
Ew, that's so
The surviving
gross.
villagers do all they can to remain silent as they hear it getting closer. Death itself draws near. Then, someone and something else enter the village.
Woo!
The demon hears them arrive.
Let's
and skitters
go!
over to investigate.
I never
The
thought
elder
I'd be
has
cheering
arrived.
for Shy
He
Guy.
knows what happened. He can hear the demon. He can smell the burning flesh of the dead. And he has brought another monster on the end of a rope.
Yes,
A guardian
sir.
spirit, a thing that, centuries later, would become to be known as SCP-096, the Shy Guy. And the demon had made the terrible mistake of looking at its face. The monster began to cry. and
Yes.
wail. You have defiled and profaned my
Let's
village,
go,
demon,"
dudes.
the elder said, speaking over the guardian spirit's wailing. This is your divine punishment. You will be removed from the face of the earth for your crimes. The demon releases
Will
a
it
blast
work,
of
though?
radioactive energy, striking the elder directly.
Oh,
and
he
killing
did.
him instantly.
Oh, bye-bye,
But
Elder.
despite the residual burns from the attack, the guardian spirit is unaffected. It continues to bawl loudly. Then, with the fury and speed of a bullet train,
Oh, come on,
it
let's
roars
go.
and gallops towards the demon.
So Shy Guy is extremely fast. It could survive practically anything. I think it might be technically invincible. Like it could survive in space, underwater. It really doesn't take any damage. And it also like literally will not stop until it destroys whatever looked at it. So it's going to go after the prototype until it's dead, pretty much.
Its clawed hands extended. With one strike of the back of the guardian spirit's hand, the demon's
Oh!
body is thrown through a nearby empty house, tearing through the brickwork.
That's
and sending it skidding
crazy.
across the ground on the other side. The demon rises shakily to its feet, dazed and hurt. It doesn't understand. How had that creature resisted the radiation poisoning? It only showed minor burns.
Yeah, I don't think the
It didn't make
prototype's
sense.
ready for
It
the
makes
Shy
even
Guy
less sense to the
showdown.
demon when the guardian spirit comes bounding through the wreckage of the house, its burns already somehow completely healed. There is no hesitation from the guardian spirit. It leaps towards the demon, and the demon only narrowly dodges the spirit's grasp. It rakes its claws along the spirit's back as it glides
Oh.
past, leaving another 3 distinctive scars.
Oh,
But by the time
dude.
the creature lands on all 4 spindly limbs, the wounds are already seamlessly
He has
healing.
super healing.
This is nothing like fighting a mere human being. Perhaps the elder was right.
The
This
prototype
creature
was
is
not
a divine
prepared for this.
punishment, and it really is here to wipe out the demon.
The only thing I am really curious about is if Shy Guy can handle the black hole that the prototype can spawn in.
Once and for all. But if that is the case, then this demon won't be going down without a fight. It creates a singularity within the guardian
here we
spirit's
go.
chest. The spirit doubles over in pain, howling and clawing at the dirt beneath it. But to the demon's surprise, the guardian spirit doesn't crumble like the humans did.
Oh, it's over for
Massive
the
amount of
prototype.
radiation being caused as a side effect of the singularity barely seems to faze the beast.
Wow.
The demon strains to increase the power of the singularity within the guardian spirit, but other than causing it to wail
Yeah,
and
it's
bellow
not
louder,
working.
it seems to have no meaningful effect. The demon, on some level, thinks it's as if the creature is held together by an invincible skeleton. No matter what it does, it only seems to be able to leave superficial damage. The monster is unbreakable. The guardian
Yeah, that's
spirit
Shy Guy
flails
for
and
ya.
lunges, breaking the demon's concentration and causing the singularity to collapse. Taking advantage of the sudden respite, the guardian strikes the demon on its disgusting, bulbous head, causing it to stumble backwards, dizzied. The demon steadies itself and gives a defensive screech, but the guardian spirit ignores it.
So can the
Instead,
prototype be
it leaps
destroyed?
onto the demon and grabs it.
Oh, we're
Shocked by
about
the
to
sudden
find out.
ferocity of its attacker, the demon clawed at the guardian spirit's face, wounding it but not deterring it. The guardian spirit has a grip that would put iron to shame. Despite trying to wring free, the demon couldn't seem to
Wow.
escape. As the guardian spirit roars and stretches open its jaws, the demon activates its emergency escape feature. It creates another miniature singularity around itself.
I think it
a
might bring
wormhole,
Shy Guy with
and
it.
vanishes.
Oh, no.
The demon reappears in the woods, feeling, for the first time in its wretched existence, a pang of mortal fear. At least it was able to escape back into the woods, where it could steal away into the night and fight again another day. It understands its
But wait
enemy
a
now.
second,
It
guys.
could figure
Shy Guy will not stop until this thing is dead, and it knows exactly where to find it, too, even if it teleports away.
out weaknesses. It could plan, strategize. But its thoughts are interrupted by a familiar, horrific wailing.
Yes,
Shocked,
dude.
the demon looks up. It sees the
Oh,
guardian
look, there's
spirit
Shy Guy.
bounding towards it across the forest, barging through trees and splintering them into wood chips. How? How had this creature gotten here already? It's as if it has an innate sense of the demon's location. The demon steels itself and summons all of its power. It would need to annihilate the guardian spirit now.
It's
or
not
it
going to
would
be enough,
done
dudes.
for.
There's no
It
way.
opens its freakish head, and the eye in its mouth glows, releasing
Whoa.
a wave of radioactive heat that bakes earth and disintegrates trees in its path.
Wow.
It catches the guardian spirit in the blinding blast and wipes it out.
No.
When the smoke clears,
No,
there's
no,
nothing
no,
left
no.
of the guardian spirit.
He's
but
gonna
a
be right
charred
behind him.
skeleton. The demon
What?
approaches, perhaps to investigate the kill, perhaps to take in the victory. But suddenly, the skeleton rears up, already beginning
crazy.
to regrow its flesh.
That's
and closes
insane.
its clawed hand around the demon's
It's literally
throat.
the Terminator.
The demon screams, but not for long. Many people are dead.
Oh my
A
god.
biker bar is stuffed with bullet-riddled corpses
Oh my God.
of Hell's Angels. In the city aquarium, several workers and a night guard float dead.
Oh
in a
my
huge tank,
God.
Being picked at by triggerfish and sharks.
This is a horrible way to
At a
start an
construction
SCP
site,
video.
Several men stand frozen, their faces locked in forever grimaces of anguish. Just outside town, the bodies of 2 police officers lay scorched
What?
beyond recognition. And even further out, the body of an old farmer hangs from the twisted wire of a fence.
I thought going into this was going to be a very like friendly, maybe like non-Keter class SCP, but it seems like this might be one of the deadliest SCPs I've ever seen.
What could possibly be behind this town-wide carnage? How could one being be the cause of so much death?
Is it really just
To
like a little
find out,
stuffed animal?
We need only rewind a few hours.
That's it?
6 p.m. Nobody has any idea of the horrors the night has in store for them. But if they knew about one another, they might have some idea of the clues, the little signs that point to something being just a bit off.
I'm so
Over in
confused.
the biker bar, the big, tough, leather-clad men, their hair tied back with bandanas and their beards twisted into Viking locks, laugh and shoot pool together. They've completed some good scores lately. Nobody messes with them. They own these streets. It's their strength, their intimidation, and most important of all, the cache of guns in the back of the bar.
Okay, so I'm very curious to see where the Builder-Bear comes into play here, because I've seen the Builder-Bear before, but I've never actually learned about where it came from, and I thought it was like this little stuffed animal bear, kind of like the Build-A-Bear that you make. When I was younger, you would just go in, you would pick out your bear or your stuffed animal, and then you would put like a little heart inside. Sometimes you could put in like a little voice box and make it say stuff. It's not really that deadly. At least it doesn't seem like it would be. So I'm curious, like, where does that come into play here?
One biker among them hears something strange, though. Something rustling in the back room.
It's a bear.
Someone infiltrated the armory. He pulls out his side piece, a revolver with a pearlescent handle, and barges into the armory. But the room is empty.
Whoa.
Not just of people, but of weapons.
Somebody stole
All the gun
everything.
racks are laid bare. His heart drops into his stomach. Seconds later, he's running back into the bar, demanding that the music be shut off. He sounds the alarm, and bikers start scrambling, as though the missing guns might be hiding under the tables. Little do they know that the truth is far, far stranger.
Good, that was it. That was the Builder-Bear. If we go back like 5 seconds,
Little do they know
that is
that the
it.
truth is
That thing is so creepy, dude. It looks like a Terminator, little tiny like 1 foot bear, and it has the guns. It has ammo strapped to its chest, and it looks like it's ready to kill everybody. That is
far,
amazing.
Far stranger. Over at the city aquarium, they're wrapping up for the day, seeing off their remaining few customers. Janitors are starting their nightly rounds as night guards suit up and prep for patrol. One more marine biologist who works full-time studying the aquarium's many creatures isn't quite ready to go home for the night. She's made herself a new pot of coffee and is on her way to the octopus tank, containing several of the hyper-intelligent, mysterious mollusks. But when she arrives, she sees a startling sight. All the octopi are gone. Shocked and horrified,
What?
she calls over some janitors and a night guard. There are a few other possibilities. Either these slimy escape artists had figured out a way to
don't
get out
know.
and slither away, or someone had stolen them.
This is so weird. So I'm kind of like, I don't understand how it all connects. Like, it makes sense that the Builder-Bear, which is basically just like a little tiny midget Terminator, would steal all of the guns, right? So that it had more weapons and more ammunition to cause chaos. But why would it need to steal an octopus? It doesn't make any sense to me.
She's in a full panic now. These octopi are vital to her research. But when the others arrive, there's no trace of the creatures. There is, however, a strange pair of tiny, wet footsteps heading towards the tank. Before any of them can react to that, they hear a wet slapping sound behind them. Over at a construction site, work is just ramping up. Plans are being drawn up for the night's work, and construction equipment is being vanned in. The foreman of the construction site is pleased with how everything is progressing, and if everyone does their job right, they'll have all their work completed on schedule. He lives in this state of blissful optimism until one of his workers runs over to him in a panic. Someone has stolen 4 bags of cement. The exact 4 bags of cement they need for setting the foundation. As the foreman calls the company manager to profusely apologize for the delays, the construction workers scramble around the site, looking anywhere they can for the 4 bags. It's not uncommon for equipment to get stolen from construction sites, but bags of cement? That's strange. Though not nearly as strange as the creature approaching the foreman. Step by careful step, its hard gray skin scratching against itself.
It's so tiny but deadly. And also, guys, I'm noticing a pattern here. It seems like Builder-Bear is a kleptomaniac, which means that it likes to steal random objects and things, and apparently creatures too. It's so far has stolen a bunch of weapons, it's stolen a bunch of octopi, and 4 bags of cement. Now, I'm guessing these are all separate occurrences, but I am kind of curious. What if Builder-Bear is building his own aquarium, and then he's using the weapons to guard the aquarium? It could, you never know. You never know. That could be the case.
A pair of police officers in a squad car receive a call over their radio. There are reports of a break-in at a nuclear graveyard across town. A large stone dome covering up a mess of radioactive material from when the city used to have a nuclear power plant. Someone tripped the alarm on the perimeter gate, and someone needs to get there and apprehend the intruder before they do something they seriously regret. The officers arrive not so long after and see a hole cut into the fence. But the hole is weirdly low and small. Was the person who broke in a small child?
I can't wait to see the Builder-Bear.
Hurry. The 2 officers pull out their flashlights and head up to the gate, opening it and walking through. Just as they're starting to wonder whether they should have brought some kind of radiation guard, they feel a strange, warm sensation on their skin, like a tanning bed, like blistering sunlight.
That's not good.
In the middle of the night. They turn and try to see what's walking towards them. The air seems to distort and wobble, even in the dark. Then, there's a flash of bright, eye-searing light, and both the officers scream.
It's Builder-Bear!
On a farm nestled in the sticks outside the town, an old farmer is carrying out his twilight rounds. He's hammering in fence posts, making sure the sheep, cows, and chickens are fenced off. He's about to turn in for the night when he sees a goat, his goat, wandering out in the fields beyond his own. He doesn't know how this thing escaped, but in any case, he needs to get it back. As he walks to the edge of the farm, he finds out why. Someone has ripped away all the barbed wire from a section of the outer fence. The wire is completely gone.
That has to be so confusing. Just like you're a farmer out in the middle of the forest at night, and you're just like, oh, cool, I'm just gonna like turn it in for the night. And then out of nowhere, all of your barbed wire is missing. Like, who would do that? Who steals barbed wire? It would literally scratch you to death if you tried to steal that.
It doesn't make sense. His mind fills with questions, and one awful, monstrous answer is standing right behind him.
Oh, that's so creepy.
Then, all across town, the chaos begins. Back in the biker bar, there's a quiet tapping amidst the chaos of heavy leather boots tromping back and forth. The tap, tap, tap of metal against wooden floorboards. The bikers turn in unison to the back of the bar, where something small and squat is limping out of the shadows. When it steps into the light, the bikers can hardly believe what they're seeing.
I know that it's supposed to be like really creepy and menacing, but it's so funny to me that this like deadly SCP is literally like basically a little tiny stuffed teddy bear. That's so funny. And I'm also curious too, since we've been hearing all of these stories about how Builder-Bear has, you know, stolen the octopi, stolen the cement. I wonder if there's multiple Builder-Bears. Like, I've only ever known there to be one, but I wonder if this is an SCP that either can clone itself or there's just like a mass amount of Builder-Bears that kind of just roam around and they steal stuff and they kind of like use the stuff that they steal almost to like upgrade their bodies. Like, this guy obviously stole weapons and ammo and guns, so he turned into the Terminator. But I wonder if the other Builder-Bear since it went into the uranium, like if it used that as a power-up, and maybe it can use the octopi to like give itself giant tentacle upgrades and you know, stuff like that.
It's a teddy bear, a living, walking teddy bear, made out of guns. Its body is an amalgam of stocks and ammo belts. It walks on a pair of spindly rifle barrels for legs. Its eyes are scopes and laser sights, and perhaps most striking are its arms. The left arm is an Uzi submachine gun, and the right is an AA-12 fully automatic drum barrel shotgun.
That is so
the
cool.
Bikers recognize every gun as their own. But before their many minds can compute another thought, the gun bear raises its shotgun and Uzi arms and begins blasting.
No way!
Bullet after bullet tears
Wow.
through the bikers, dropping them one by
That's
one.
insane.
Some scramble for the door, but it doesn't save them.
Nope.
In a matter of moments, as gunshots ring throughout the bar, every single biker is dead.
By a tiny
Over
teddy
at the
bear.
aquarium, things aren't going much better. The marine biologist and her coworkers turn to see a strange figure standing
Oh,
atop
I
the
think
tank.
I was right.
It's in the shape of a teddy bear. But the biologist can clearly see that it's about 5 octopi fused together in some nightmarish and unnatural conglomeration.
Okay, I did not know this about Builder-Bear. I only have seen Builder-Bear, I mean, weirdly enough, from a Minecraft mod, and it usually either looked like a teddy bear or it looked like the Terminator version that we just saw a second ago, where it had a bunch of weapons and guns and grenades strapped to it. I didn't realize that Builder-Bear was kind of like Upgrade from Ben 10, where it can pretty much like take over other creatures and machinery and basically turn its body into whatever it is that it steals. Like, that is so cool.
The tentacles stretch out and grab the aquarium staff, lifting them
Cool,
with
but
impossible
deadly.
strength and force them down into the tank. They struggle and thrash against the slimy tentacles holding them in place underwater, but it's no use.
I wonder why Builder-Bear
The
is so
octopi bear
deadly.
is in total control.
Like, why does it want to kill everybody?
Bubbles rise as the unfortunate aquarium staff struggle, but those bubbles eventually stop.
All right, Pete.
Everyone in the tank floats, dead. The work of the octopi bear isn't over yet, though. It drags the waterlogged corpses of the marine biologist, the cleaners, and the night guard across the aquarium floor,
Why?
leaving a wet trail. Eventually, it throws the bodies into the main aquarium tank and watches with a slimy, blank expression as the fish begin to feed.
Oh, why?
Back at the
That's
construction
so
site,
weird.
the workers are frozen, but not in fear. The entity that stepped out of the shadows of the construction site is a teddy bear made of solid cement.
It looks so cute.
Constructed out of the 4 stolen bags. The second the foreman saw it, he called in the other workers to see, dooming them to share his fate. As some of them reach into their jackets to grab phones, eager to take photos, just to see if this truly is happening, the cement teddy bear screams.
What?
It's an awful sound, the screech of metal on metal, like a broken cement mixer spinning off kilter.
Oh my God.
Threatening to explode.
What?
But it doesn't explode. It just keeps screeching. And as it screeches, the workers and the
Whoa.
foreman are frozen in place. As much as they try with all their might, it's like their bodies are turning into concrete.
Huh?
No, it isn't like that at all. That's exactly what's happening. Their skin is
What?
taking on a slate gray hue, becoming rigid and brittle.
Are you serious?
Little by little, their bodies freeze and harden. Their eyes go after all the rest as they watch themselves becoming living statues, trapped forever.
I'm getting
in the shell
goosebumps.
of
That
their
is
own
the
bodies.
scariest one yet.
The cement teddy bear walks among them, and it begins to dance. Over at the nuclear graveyard, another 2
This might be my new favorite SCP.
corpses are about to be interred. That flash of light is actually a localized blast of radiation that would make Chernobyl look positively quaint, frying the officers on a cellular level in less time than it would take for a camera to take a photograph. They lay on the ground,
Wow.
skin burnt, vomiting profusely.
Oh.
They twitch and squirm, not quite dead, but trapped in a void of unimaginable pain. Every thought burned out of their head. Their killer walks towards them on tiny, flat feet. As you may have predicted, it's a teddy bear, a living, walking teddy bear, cobbled together out of radioactive material. What it's done to the 2 police officers is horrifying, but if it gets into the city proper, the death toll will quickly climb into the thousands, if not the hundreds of thousands. But the violence and terror of the night is not quite over yet.
Okay, guys, so obviously this Build-A-Bear, even though it's cute, it's cuddly, this might be one of the deadliest SCPs that I've ever watched a video on, and I'm kind of curious, like, what would you combine Build-A-Bear with if you had the opportunity? I mean, it seems like the deadliest one that we saw so far was Build-A-Bear combined with nuclear radioactive material, because then it's basically just like a walking nuclear bomb. But I am kind of curious, what would you try to combine the Build-A-Bear with to make it the most powerful thing you've ever seen? Comment down below.
We return to the farm, where a farmer can only just make out a tiny figure stomping across the grass towards him. He hears it before he sees it and whips around, the strange jangling of metal against metal. He immediately regrets not bringing his gun, but it's too late for regrets now. He can see it now, the freakish little teddy bear made out of twisted barbed wire.
What?
Handles of the wire strip away from the teddy bear's body and launch towards him like angry vipers.
That's so
They
scary.
wrap around his body and limbs around his neck and tie him to a fence post.
Ouch.
He tries to struggle, but every movement hurts as more barbed
yeah.
wire cocoons him. Out on the field, the goat looks on with complete indifference. What you just witnessed is a series of horrifying impossibilities.
Yes!
Unless, of course, you're dealing with SCP-1048.
It looks so
a
cute.
singularly strange anomaly known as the Build-A-Bear. But please don't let the apparent whimsy of that name fool you. What we're dealing with here is an extremely dangerous Keter-class anomaly.
Oh yeah.
But before we get there, we need to explore some background information on the entity before it revealed its darker side. SCP-1048 is a relatively small and unassuming teddy bear, standing at only 33 centimeters tall. Researchers have studied the materials and composition behind the Build-A-Bear and found that nothing about it is inherently anomalous. But despite this, the bear appears to be fully sapient and capable of moving of its own accord. While it is incapable of speech, it can communicate through some small gestures, all of which are extremely sweet and affectionate.
That's so weird. Like, it looks like it's friendly and it looks like it doesn't want to kill anything or anybody, but then what we just saw completely is the opposite of that. Like, this thing is extremely deadly and it could explode entire cities if it wanted to.
Yes, you heard that correctly. One of the most surprising things about SCP-1048, if you're only familiar with it by reputation, is the fact that most people who directly encounter it find it endearing and even adorable.
Yeah, it's
cute. It shows
cute.
affection to human subjects by hugging their lower leg, dancing, jumping in place, and even drawing childlike crayon pictures for Foundation janitorial staff.
Yeah, what turns it
Before
into
the
this, like,
darker
evil
incidents
creature?
began, almost everyone reported positive feelings towards SCP-1048, even D-Class personnel who had tested positive for sociopathic tendencies. Despite its seemingly charming exterior, the inner workings of the Build-A-Bear's mind still remain a mystery. Attempts to communicate with the anomaly directly have failed, because although it is capable of making simple gestures indicating yes and no answers, it will often simply ignore certain questions. Specifically, it will completely stonewall any questions about its origins, which is partly why the Foundation knows so little except for what it can directly observe. Whether the Build-A-Bear declines to answer because it doesn't know or because it doesn't want to share is an open question.
I'm also, kind of curious, how is it able to communicate? It said that, it can give some small gestures, like it can raise its hand, so maybe they just ask it yes or no questions. But I mean, even then, I don't think that it would want to explain its origin, because obviously the SCP Foundation, they want to figure out where it came from and possibly, how to contain it and maybe even destroy it if need be, because this thing clearly started out as being like cute and cuddly and friendly, but then it turned into something that they couldn't even control.
And while the Build-A-Bear is capable of drawing pictures, these are purely for the aesthetic value of the pictures themselves, not a means of communication. It's yet another mystery for the enigmatic bear. 7 months after first being contained in Site-24, Foundation personnel were able to first observe the Build-A-Bear's secondary anomalous effect, the one that gave it its namesake. Its ability to create crude living replicas of itself from various materials. This would be fine and dandy.
Okay, so
for the
replicas. So that means that every Build-A-Bear that we saw in today's video was a replica of the original bear that, either was the Terminator or it was an octopi or whatever it wants to make. It seems like if it gets that material, it can basically just recreate itself using that material.
That these replicas are invariably extremely hostile and dangerous. Dr. Carver, the head researcher on the SCP-1048 case, posited that, in hindsight, the reason that the Builder-Bear behaved so affectionately to staff around Site-24 was to lull its victims into a false sense of security, making it easier to collect materials for its secondary anomalous pursuits. Dr. Carver outlined case studies of the 3 most dangerous SCP-1048 creations that have manifested in Site-24 since the Builder-Bear started its grim construction project. These creations have been labeled SCP-1048-A, SCP-1048-B, and SCP-1048-C.
So these are all of the replicas.
I'd like to personally warn you that the accounts of these 3 devious bears are disturbing beyond belief, even by the standards of anomalies studied by the SCP Foundation. During the first incident, SCP-1048 was spotted working with SCP-1048-A down a hallway in Site-24. 1048-A is similar to its creator in size and shape, except that it's made entirely from human ears.
What?
Dr. Carver was immediately alerted to the creature's presence.
No.
He dispatched a security team to apprehend
Burn
both
that
anomalies.
thing with fire.
However,
that is
what
gross.
seemed like what would be a simple mission instead became a nightmarish case of mass death. As soon as the security team surrounded the 2 bears, 1048-A let out an impossibly loud, ear-piercing shriek that induced physical pain in everyone within a 10-meter range.
Wow.
But we're not just talking about hearing loss here. Everyone within hearing range began collapsing, growing ears all over their body, covering every inch of their skin. The 2 bears managed to escape during the chaos, and Dr. Carver arrived just too late to make any difference. Though luckily for him, he was at least able to avoid becoming an ear-abomination. This incident resulted in personnel deaths in the double digits. The cause of death, mainly suffocation from all the ears that had grown in the throats and lungs of all those affected. 1048-A has still not been contained.
Oh, it's still out there?
While 1048-A was hardly a walk in the park, 1048-B was, in this humble scientist's opinion, considerably more revolting.
Are you serious?
I will have to tread carefully here, as the creation of 1048-B is an extremely traumatic incident for an active duty member of Foundation personnel who still works at Site-24 to this day. In order to remain within the bounds of good taste, we'll say that 1048-B looks like a frightening cross between a plush teddy bear and a human infant.
Are you serious?
Before the creation of 1048-B,
no.
The anonymous researcher I mentioned earlier was heavily pregnant.
Oh my goodness.
Afterwards, she was not.
What?
The less said about that, the better.
What?
Moving on. The third of the documented SCP-1048 creations is perhaps even more frightening and dangerous than the other 2.
Are you kidding me?
1048-C was first spotted by Dr. Carver himself, lurking in his office. 1048-C is another living teddy bear,
what
made
is that?
entirely from rusted scrap metal and jagged blades.
That's horrible.
The second that Dr. Carver spotted the metal monster, it got away, fatally slicing and dicing its way through a number of Site-24 guards during its escape.
You can't contain that. It's like a bunch of just scrap metal that could cut you and give you all types of diseases running around. Like, even if you touch it, you're going to get cut up.
Like the other 2, it has not been sighted since the incident and is presumed to be still active somewhere in Site-24.
Where are they
potentially
going?
Ready to pop out at any moment. It brings a whole new meaning to the term bad news bears. Those well-versed in the anomalous files of the SCP Foundation may be feeling a strange flicker of memory right now. That's because SCP-1048 isn't the only anomalous teddy bear out there. And its counterpart, SCP-2295,
there's more.
The bear with a heart of patchwork, seems to be its perfect opposite in terms of temperament.
Interesting.
It goes without saying that SCP-1048 and its terrifying copies are a menace to everyone it encounters.
That's what it seems like.
But the bear with a heart of patchwork endeavors to save injured human beings whenever it can.
Oh, wow.
If this benevolent bear discovers a person with a severe injury or a disease causing organ failure, it will immediately leap into action. Like a cuddly trauma surgeon, SCP-2295 will take a needle and thread and begin making a fully functional plush organ out of its own material.
That's kind of cool. I mean, this one, I'm not going to lie, it looks a little bit creepy with all of like the stitch work and the X's on the eyes and everything. But it is kind of funny because this one is the good one. And the other one, even though it looks cuddly and friendly, it's actually all fake. It's just trying to lure people in so that they think that it's friendly. And then boom, it'll spawn in literally every bad thing that you could think of in the form of a teddy bear to destroy everything.
It will then attempt to perform transplant surgery, and if the surgery is successful, this patchwork organ will function exactly as a regular one.
Okay, that's really
the
cool.
bear has saved many lives like this. In fact, SCP-2295 is so benevolent that in cases where the surgery fails, it's been witnessed doubled over and crying over the loss of
Poor
life.
little guy.
This is a courtesy that you cannot expect if your life is brought to an abrupt demise by one of SCP-1048's many copies.
Nope.
The containment procedures for SCP-1048 have undergone considerable evolution as the Foundation learned more about the entity's anomalous effects. Originally classified as safe before its secondary characteristics manifested, the anomaly is now classified as Keter.
As it should be.
Its original containment procedures are also shockingly lax given what we know now. 1048 was given free rein to wander around Site-24 and interact with personnel to
Okay, that should never happen. Like, if you are in the SCP Foundation, how could you ever let an SCP just roam freely, even if they are safe? Like, you shouldn't just let it run around free because of situations just like this, where it seems like it's safe, but it's smarter than you. So it literally tricked the SCP Foundation into thinking that it was one thing when it was actually the other.
heart's content, a policy that we now know had terrible consequences. Technically speaking, SCP-1048 isn't contained. Many believe that it still lurks somewhere inside Site-24.
Oh, they don't know where it is.
Nobody can know this for sure. The orders for all active Foundation personnel is to apprehend SCP-1048 on site and to immediately destroy any of its deadly creations with extreme prejudice. The dangers posed by SCP-1048 are so great that even non-anomalous teddy bears are banned from Site-24 to prevent any potential confusion.
Wow.
Any object resembling a bear is to be reported to the site security team to avoid a potential mass casualty event. Dr. Carver appended a note to SCP-1048's containment procedures saying, "This is not a joke. We have no idea what SCP-1048's full capabilities are. Who knows how many of the damn things are out there by now?"
That is true.
It's a disquieting thought, to say the least. The Builder Bear is one of the most peculiar and dangerous self-perpetuating anomalies out there, with incredibly unpredictable abilities across its different iterations. If you want to stay safe, my recommendation is to be wary of any stuffed bears you may see lying around. If you're lucky, it's just another adorable plush creature. If you're unlucky, well, I hope you've made all the proper arrangements.
At the very end of the last street in town. It's the kind of house that children share stories about and warn each other to stay away from. There isn't even any graffiti on it, rare for an abandoned building in this town. But nobody is brave enough to get close to it and risk their life if the rumors of its history are to be believed.
Let's go, babe. This place is haunted.
Containing 4 men pulls up along the curb outside the house. One of them has been black-bagged,
What?
zip ties cutting into the skin of his wrists. He was leaving a bar in town when suddenly he found the barrel of a 9mm semi-automatic pistol looking him in the eye.
Dude is getting
held by a man
kidnapped.
with every reason to pull the trigger.
Why?
2 other men had then emerged from the dark behind him. There was a brief feeling of cold metal against his skin as the twin metal barbs of the stun gun were jammed into the man's neck. His body then began to convulse as 50,000 volts of electricity ran through his body.
Okay, guys, I like to make predictions during these SCP videos, and I want you guys to do the same thing in the comments down below. Don't fast forward. I know some of you guys are little cheaters. Don't do that. Comment down below your actual thoughts right now. But I personally think that inside of this house, people think that there's a ghost, when in reality, it's just the Invisible Woman SCP. And she's trying to, like, get help and maybe move objects around, or maybe she can't talk because she's invisible or something. Or maybe she is talking and she's invisible and people just think that there's a ghost in the house that's haunting them. So I think these guys, they're going to be like, oh, ghosts aren't real. But what they don't know is that SCPs are real. So once they go inside, the woman is actually going to help this guy that is now getting kidnapped. And then she's going to mess with the dudes and then eventually maybe kill the people that did the kidnapping. And then that's when the SCP Foundation is going to come and extract this woman and then contain her so that they can do tests.
And when he was finally able to open his eyes again, there was only darkness. The back doors of the van swing open, and the unfortunate man is pulled out by 2 of his captors. The driver joins to help drag the man down the gravel pathway up to the deserted house's front door. In his desperation, he offers any excuse he thinks might save him. "Please, I just need a little more time. I can get the money, I swear. I've got another job lined up, honest. I start on Monday. Just a little longer, I'm begging you.
Ooh, he can't pay back his
All he receives
debt.
is silence as he's taken into the old house.
Ooh, bad boy.
There's no pleading, begging cliche that they haven't heard before.
Why are his
They've learned to
kidnappers so
just tune it
fancy?
out and get the job done. Click, click, click. The three men turn on their flashlights. The electricity hasn't been on in the uninhabited house for years. It's the domain of rats, roaches, and spiders now. The only evidence of life being the network of spider webs in every corner and the faint chittering sound of something coming from behind faded wallpaper.
Ooh, it's gotta be the
reason
invisible
anyone would
woman.
ever choose to come here is when you needed to do something under the absolute cover of dark, which is exactly what they needed to do. The dark-suited men drop their weeping prisoner to the ground. He tries again to plead with them and receives a hard kick in the gut. It
Ew,
knocks the breath
no.
out of the man, and he is left wheezing in quiet pain, no longer able to speak. One of them finally pulls the dark bag from his head. His nose is bleeding. His eyes are equal parts bleary.
Bro
and
does not
afraid.
look good.
He only half understands his circumstances. What he does understand, though, is that it's looking increasingly unlikely that he'll be leaving this house tonight.
I don't know if it's just me, but this kind of reminds me of Peaky Blinders, and like the guy in the middle is Tommy Shelby, and the guy on the left is his brother. I don't know if you guys have seen that show, but if you have, comment down below if you think the exact same thing.
Men look down at the pathetic figure huddled on the floorboards. None of them really want to be here, but this is the job they've been paid to do. They are unaware, though, that they aren't the only ones watching.
Yes!
Somewhere in the dark is someone else.
I love these
Watches
SCP
them with a
videos.
detached, almost amused curiosity. Taking in the deep dark of the house, one of the men wonders aloud whether it might be haunted. The man with the gun laughs as he pulls back the hammer on his gun and tells him that there's about to be one more ghost here. But just as he is about to pull the trigger and put an end to their captor's terrified blubbering, he suddenly hears something that gives him pause.
Oh, yes!
Something from above them, upstairs. Is he imagining it?
Uh-oh.
Or are those particles of dust floating down from the ceiling,
What?
accompanied by the sound of footsteps?
Oh.
All of the men clearly hear it, and the three look around, shining their flashlights into the dark corners of the room. The one holding the man at gunpoint motions to one of the others to go check upstairs. He looks like he'd rather do anything else, but when the man with the gun, who is clearly the one in charge, turns and points his gun at him instead, the man finally concedes that he'll go check it out.
Guys, I never really thought about it like that. Like, what if what we think are ghosts, you know, these like extraterrestrial creatures that are invisible and they're like, you know, already dead, and then they just haven't passed over into the afterlife. What if they're just invisible things? What if they're like invisible animals, invisible people? Obviously, you know, to our knowledge, science says that we can't become invisible. That's just not how it works. But what if we could? What if we could? And that's exactly what ghosts are. They're just invisible creatures, invisible people, and they have no idea how to become uninvisible. Like, they're stuck like that. I would probably go pretty insane, and I would also probably haunt people for fun. I don't know. What would you guys do if you were invisible?
He draws a gun of his own from inside his pocket and starts making his way up the creaking stairs to the second floor of the house. The leader's mind is still on whatever's upstairs. His dumb lackey tried filling his head with all those goofy ghost stories, but he knows, deep down, it's probably just a raccoon or something.
That is the
When the
creepiest
driver
looking
is assured
raccoon.
there are no other witnesses, he'll finish the job, and they can all get out of this creepy dump. He calls up to the driver and asks him if he sees anything up there. Nothing, he calls down. I think we're... Cut off by his own sudden scream.
Yes!
There are two gunshots, followed by a loud thump as something heavy hits the ground. The two men, both with guns out, crouch down in defensive poses. They call out again, asking what's happening, but they're only met with cold, unforgiving silence. Everyone is on high alert now. Even the bound man is now more afraid of whatever's upstairs than the men who brought him here.
I would be
Nobody
too.
dares move as, after what feels like minutes of silence, the footsteps resume upstairs again. The leader calls out again, asking what's going on. Still no reply, just more footsteps. They follow the sound across the floor above them to the stairs, then listen as the steps start to creak again. Their eyes drift over where they see nothing. Are they going insane? The two hired guns share a panicked glance as if to say, what do we do now?
Dude, I would get out of there.
Answer. A quiet, reedy whisper suddenly echoes through the stale air of the house. With what sounds like a female voice, it rasps, what are you doing in my house?
Guys, I don't care how much money I'm getting paid. I am not staying in that house. I don't care. That was so creepy. And if you're inside of like a haunted house and you hear somebody talk to you and it wasn't your partner playing a prank on you, which would be very funny, but if it's not that, I am running out of there faster than my dad ran when he got milk and never came back.
The remaining lackey, consumed by panic, begins firing wildly into the dark. The captive and the leader both get as close as they can to the floor as bullets fly through the air, piercing the old wooden walls, causing roaches alike to scatter. Soon enough, the bullets are gone, replaced with only the feeble click, click, click of his dry firing.
They missed every shot.
What's going on in here? He thinks. This place really is haunted. Before another fearful thought can cross his mind, a lamp comes flying at him out of the darkness, shattering into pieces of skin carving ceramic against his face. Next comes a book, then an old heavy phone, and then a dusty old
She's
grip
going
that strikes his skull
crazy!
with a monstrous crunch.
Whoa!
He drops to his knees, bleeding from both nostrils and the deep gash cut into his forehead.
Bro is not doing good.
Down onto the floor.
Ew.
He'll be lucky if he ever wakes up. Only the leader and his prisoner are left now, both confused, both afraid, both seemingly beset.
Dude, just get out of there.
Suddenly, the leader feels a hot breath on his neck and a whisper right into his ear. You shouldn't have come here.
Oh,
It hisses.
dude.
He turns,
Guys,
screams,
I'm
and
getting
fires once
goosebumps.
into the dark. Nothing. A strange, tinny giggle suddenly loops around him. It's everywhere and nowhere.
This is a
He can hear
nightmare.
footsteps, but where are they coming from? They're simultaneously getting further and getting closer. An unseen fist collides with his jaw.
Oh!
In a long time. He stumbles, looking around for the assailant, panting like a prize fighter in the championship rounds. But there's nothing there.
Dude, just start
Nothing.
swinging.
Crack.
Just start shadow
Strikes the
boxing.
other side
Go.
of
Just
his
start
face.
punching.
Another giggle from the dark. He spits a tooth out as his mouth
Ew,
bleeds.
bro, she's a
Not knowing what else
boxer.
to do, he extends his arm and fires desperately. Maybe he'll get lucky. Or maybe not.
Guys, comment down below what you're doing in this scenario. Personally, I am performing the helicopter tactic where I spin in a circle with my gun as fast as possible, and then I just start shooting and punching furiously in a circle. I just keep spinning until something happens. I'm just gonna helicopter my way until I win the fight. That's the only way that I think that I'll come out of this alive.
A force wraps itself around his extended arm and pulls on it with a sudden immense pressure. It snaps before he has the chance to scream, his arm bending at the joint in the wrong direction. He lets out an agonized cry as he drops his gun to the ground.
He's gonna feel that in the morning.
Is cut off. He takes a punch to the solar plexus, sapping the wind from him as he spews out a thin mist of blood that settles
Ew,
onto the
my,
shape
yo!
of a woman's face, staring
He sees
right at
her.
him, grinning. His terror and pain overcome him.
Okay, that
His
was
mind
kinda
snaps.
cool.
He faints from panic, collapsing to the ground in a heap. His jacket opens as invisible fingers work a handkerchief from an inside pocket and wipe the blood from the floating face,
Wow.
leaving only a floating, bloody handkerchief. The man on the ground, the one who was brought here against his will,
What's she
watches
going to do with
astonished
him?
and speechless as the handkerchief flutters down to the ground. All he can do is stare in amazement as the leader's arm flops limply upright, as the gold watch around his wrist unclasps itself and floats into the air. And then, with a strange gulping noise, disappears entirely. Footsteps creak across the ground. The front door.
Guys, I am so confused. First off, do we think that this is just a normal woman? Obviously, she's invisible, but other than that, do we think, like, does she have any superpowers? It seems like she might be, I don't know, some sort of kung fu martial arts master, considering that she just beat that guy into a living pulp. She broke his arm like it was nothing. I don't even know if I could do that to another person, even if I was invisible. So maybe she's trained in kung fu. Also, too, why did she just eat the gold watch? Maybe it was to conceal it so that, anything inside of her mouth technically also turns invisible. So maybe that was it. Or she just likes passing time. I don't really know. I don't know why she did that, but comment down below your thoughts.
Door opens, then closes again, leaving the terrified man in silence.
That door looks
lying
like
on
a
the floor
chocolate bar.
Between two bodies. After a time, he finally gains the courage to stand up. He creeps nervously towards the front door and opens it. There's no one outside. Not that he could see whatever assailant just took out the group of men anyway.
Okay, so this dude
One
just
last
somehow
look
got
back
out
into
of
the
that.
dark house. He steps out and closes the door behind him. He's free, and no matter how hard he tries, he will never understand the true nature of the invisible specter that just saved his life. But while none of the men will never know what they encountered that night, the SCP Foundation certainly does, because these are the kind of antics you can expect from SCP-347, also known by the somewhat obvious nickname of the Invisible Woman.
Well,
But
yeah.
she has another name, her own self-chosen epithet, Claudia.
Oh.
Foundation staff are
Okay,
currently
Claudia.
unsure whether this is the real name of the SCP-347 entity or a pseudonymized reference to Claude Rains, the English actor who portrayed Dr. Jack Griffin in the 1933 film The Invisible Man. Of course,
Interesting.
nothing is really as it seems when it comes to this particular anomaly, though it's easy to be more than what meets the eye when nothing meets the eye at all. Claudia, as I will refer to her both out of respect for her chosen name as well as for the sake of simplicity, is 164 centimeters.
Okay, so I'm guessing the SCP Foundation probably found her after, there were many reports of something like this, and then all they had to do was use some sort of like heat monitor to see where she was, and then bada bing, bada boom, you could see that there's a woman standing in front of me, but I can't see her, therefore there's the invisible woman. So I'm guessing that's probably how they found her.
In height and 55 kilograms in weight. And that's really all that is known for sure about her.
Interesting.
Because her primary anomalous trait is, of course, that she is completely and utterly invisible. Although she seems to possess them like an average human, all parts of her body, including blood and hair, will remain invisible even if removed from her body.
That part's
Seems
really
that only
interesting.
Saliva and bodily waste become visible when separated from her body.
I'm just thinking, dude, there's just like a random turd that you see floating in the middle of nowhere, and it's secretly Claudia. She's just taking a dump.
As a number of disgruntled, mop and bucket wielding D-classes are more than aware. Claudia is able to see through what also must be anomalous means, since in typical humans, the cones and rods of the eyes must be visible for them to receive light and thus see.
Right.
Research is ongoing as to how exactly this is possible, as well as what it could potentially provide for active camouflage technology. By her own description, which due to her skittish and crafty personality must be taken with a grain of salt, Claudia is a mixed-race woman between the ages of 19 and 25, with brown eyes and wavy black hair.
How does she know that? How does she know what color her hair is, what color eyes she has? Is she able to turn on and off the ability? Or maybe she was an SCP that was created, maybe during like some scientific accident. Or, maybe she's just lying. Like they just said, maybe she's just like giving a description for herself just for fun and to play with the SCP Foundation.
She appears to have no anomalous traits other than her invisibility. No super strength or speed, no ability to fly. However, what she does have is a very particular set of skills. Skills that make her a nightmare to anyone wishing to keep her under lock and key.
So she's
Like, for
female
example,
Liam
the
Neeson.
SCP Foundation. The Foundation quickly learned that Claudia is an accomplished escape and infiltration artist. With the
Interesting.
lockpicking skills of a veteran thief. She's
Wow.
able to move while making very little noise, which complements her natural stealth advantages perfectly, allowing her to get in and out of secured areas easily. These are skills she's developed not only to survive, but to support certain psychological dependencies she suffers from. While Foundation psychologists have posited a number of mental conditions that could be affecting Claudia, two seem to have risen to prominence: kleptomania and pica.
Oh.
Claudia appears to be compulsively driven to steal as a kind of psychological crutch. Being invisible, naturally, makes her an impeccable thief.
Right.
However, when she has obtained the item of her desire, said item floating through the air is likely to draw unwanted attention. That is where her second strange habit comes in.
So she puts it
Pica
in her
is an eating
mouth?
disorder that causes sufferers to consume items that are not food, sometimes damaging themselves in the process.
Ew. I think my
Claudia
dog has
developed
that.
the unhealthy habit of swallowing some of the smaller items she steals, causing them to seemingly disappear until she later vomits the items back up.
Okay, that's kind of
When
gross.
interviewed on the matter, Claudia stated that she'd gotten the idea from watching Stevie Starr perform on a late-night television show. Starr is a Scottish performer known for his ability to swallow and regurgitate items, though Starr's ability doesn't extend far enough to meet the Foundation's threshold for anomalous. Before she was brought into containment,
I never really thought about that. Like, what if some just like really talented performer? I remember I used to watch this show when I was younger about like these superhumans of people that like could bend themselves in like a box, or like some really great climbers. Like, what if the SCP Foundation found somebody that could like climb something and they were just a super talented climber, but then they were like, no, that's actually an SCP ability. You are an SCP. And they thought that like he was Spider-Man or something, when it was really just a normal person with like this really cool ability.
Claudia had a preference for abandoned houses. The home where Foundation agents finally discovered her was one with a long history of reported poltergeist activity. As is standard in instances where spectral phenomena were suspected, the Foundation moved in with infrared cameras, allowing them to quickly detect the humanoid shape of Claudia.
Exactly as I
to
thought.
Intercept her. Without the advantage of her invisibility, she had no chance of either evading or besting trained Foundation operatives in combat. Thankfully, it didn't need to come to that, and after a brief period of deliberation, Claudia gave herself up to the Foundation willingly in exchange for shelter and warm meals, both of which would be provided for her in containment. Prior to this, it's believed that she was effectively homeless for years and had been making ends meet in any way she could. She refuses to discuss her past directly, though a long string of ghost activity across the area and at least 2 deaths have been solidly linked to her activities. Being unseen for years of her life has taken an undeniable mental toll on Claudia, the isolation leading to instability and even violent outbursts on occasion. Thankfully, she has responded well to treatment from Foundation counselors and psychiatrists, which has reduced the frequency of these violent outbursts significantly.
So it seems like she's just a normal person that, either she was born with this ability or somehow she just got the ability of being invisible. And then luckily it seems like the SCP Foundation is doing a pretty good job. Like they're being humane. They're not doing any random tests on her. They're actually giving her like a therapist to just try to help her live a normal life, because it seems like unlike some of the Keter class SCPs like Shy Guy or the Statue or the Prototype that are super dangerous and like they're not even really human. It seems like she's just a normal human that kind of just got cursed with this random ability of being invisible. So she's kind of like an X-Men with just a weird power. And it seems like the SCP Foundation, surprisingly, is doing a good job just like, keeping her happy, giving her food, giving her a place to stay, and treating her, kind of normally, at least.
As she recovers further from her traumatic past, there is hope that Claudia may even begin to recover from her kleptomaniac tendencies altogether, allowing her to live a normal, well-adjusted life, or as much as one can hope to live while still remaining invisible. There's even more good news, though. Since entering containment and undergoing recovery, Claudia has become much more social. She enjoys interacting with other people, especially when they treat her as though she's an average person. And some of her actions have even been described as bordering on flirtatious.
Oh, no way.
She enjoys interacting physically with people, and often plays impish pranks on the unsuspecting people sent into her chamber, such as rearranging or taking items to confuse them. She also shows, for unknown reasons, a particular fondness for interacting with people as they sleep, often touching and stroking them, though it may have been one of the only ways she was able to have human contact prior to entering Foundation custody.
That makes sense.
While she describes this as feeling right, those who experience it from the other side describe it as feeling unnerving, as though they've been touched by a ghost. Naturally, due to being an intelligent escape artist that is impossible to see through conventional means, Foundation containment specialists have needed to go all out on her containment measures, both to keep her contained and to keep her comfortable enough that she has no desire to attempt a containment breach. She is kept in a 5-meter by 5-meter room in Site-17, constantly monitored by a remote infrared camera, and in addition to infrared detection systems, Claudia is also visible in ultraviolet light, expanding the Foundation's means of seeing her.
Interesting.
Her room has an ensuite bathroom with a shower and bathtub, and is furnished with a queen-sized bed, several oversized beanbag chairs, 2 armchairs, a desk and swivel chair, several bookcases, and a TV with a DVD player.
That's not that bad at all.
Bookcases are filled with various books, primarily adventure novels, Harlequin romances, and art books. She's allowed DVDs of various movies and TV shows predating her arrival at the SCP facility, and may request new material to be reviewed every so often. Claudia is given access to any clothes she pleases, though she often prefers to remain unclothed to take advantage of her full invisibility. She does on occasion wear wigs and makeup for her own amusement. Her room must remain locked at all times when she is inside it.
I am kind of curious too, like what if, obviously we just saw her put on like lipstick and eyebrows, but what if she just like put on, I don't know, like a bunch of paint or like foundation? Wouldn't she be able to see her face then? Or at least like kind of see her face? I guess it would be kind of weird though, because like you wouldn't be able to see her eyeballs because you can't really put anything on your eyeballs. But maybe if she put on sunglasses, like, I don't know. I feel like if she put on enough clothes and other things, like she could technically pass as a normal looking person. Yeah, that would be kind of interesting to see.
And 2 guards are required to check the door for any signs of tampering every hour. The door is only unlocked to allow staff members in and out of the containment chamber for the purposes of research and enrichment. Claudia enjoys chatting with staff members who bring her food, though said staff members are discouraged from forming attachments that are too close to Claudia. It may allow her to manipulate them into helping her escape or gain special privileges. On the rare occasions when Claudia is allowed to leave the room, she is mandated to wear gloves and a layer of grease paint over her face to give personnel awareness of her hands and facial expressions.
Okay.
If she does attempt violent action or escape, she must be apprehended immediately and placed back into her room. In the event of an escape, infrared goggles will be distributed to all personnel, and any strange phenomena around Site-17 will be reported. Thankfully, escape attempts are quite infrequent, and while she currently has the Euclid Object class, pending further therapy, her containment class may be upgraded to Safe class. Of course, the Foundation keeps any containment breaches close to the chest, and if there was a recent containment breach, you'd have no way of knowing. For all you know, she could be watching you right now.
Its wood damp from the mist that clung to the streets.
Don't open
No
it.
note,
Do
no
it!
address. The old shopkeeper
Just
dragged it
do
inside,
it!
muttering
Don't do it.
curses under his breath. Business had been slow.
Send it back to
Candy shop
Walmart.
hanging by a thread. Maybe this was some promotional miracle, or a mistake.
A mistake.
It groaned as it opened, nails straining against the wood. Inside sat a vending machine, like nothing he'd ever seen.
Ooh.
Mechanical and polished to a gleam, it had a presence that felt wrong. The glass dome at the top revealed rows of perfectly round candies, their colors so vibrant they seemed to glow. He tilted the machine slightly, spotting words engraved on the underside.
All right, guys, so that thing shows up at your front doorstep. Comment down below what you're doing. Personally, I'll be honest, I would open it. Sometimes I get Amazon packages that are for like my neighbor, and then I just get so excited by a package showing up at my door because it's like Christmas morning all over again. So I end up opening it anyway. And if I already do that with my neighbor's packages, I would probably do it with this as well. And then if it was candy, well, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I think I would probably eat the candy. As much as you're not supposed to eat random stranger candy, I think I would do it. But yeah, comment down below what you guys would do. Don't do it, though, if it actually happens.
Try something different today. Sweet and candy red.
Candy red?
Snorted
Is that red
shook
40?
his head.
Red 40 bad.
Crush this stuff.
Causes autism.
Still, desperate times. He dusted off a corner near the front window and set the machine there. Its coin slot caught the light, winking at him like it knew something he didn't.
What?
The old man stared at it for a moment before fishing a coin from his pocket. One little test couldn't hurt. The coin clinked as it
Famous
slid in.
last words.
He pulled the lever, and the machine whirred mechanically, spitting out a single candy into the tray below. It was perfect. Round, red, and faintly glistening.
What kind of
He
candy?
rolled it in his palm before popping it into his mouth.
Is it like
The
a
flavor
chocolate
hit him like a revelation.
or like a jelly bean?
Bloomed on his tongue, bright and irresistible.
Jawbreaker?
It was like every childhood memory condensed into
What is this candy? Bro has no idea, but he just took every drug combined into one. And there's also some silly juice in the center. So bro is high as a kite right now, and he has no idea.
moment. He forgot the world, forgot the bills, forgot the empty streets outside.
What the heck?
Then it turned.
His hair grew back.
Soured, twisting into something sharp and metallic. His
Oh,
tongue burned, his throat tightening as if a fist had gripped it. His vision blurred.
Oh my
the shadow
God.
Tilting wildly around him. A pressure built in his chest, and his heart thudded like it was trying to escape. The whispers came next, soft at first, then getting louder. They skittered
Bro.
around his mind. His
Yo.
hands trembled, and he clawed at his shirt as though it might stop the suffocating
yo,
weight
what is
pressing
going
down.
on?
Then came the blood.
The what?
First, he dismissed
What?
the wetness under his arms, thinking it was sweat from the pants.
Oh my God, what?
When he pulled his trembling hand away
He's
from his
bleeding
shirt,
from his
it was
pits!
slick and red.
He's bleeding from his armpits!
Felt like it.
Oh my God.
Down.
Bro.
Crimson stains seeped through his sleeves, pooling in the folds of his armpits.
Ugh.
Sticky wetness spread to his toes, soaking his socks and dripping onto the wooden floor.
Oh my God.
He whispered.
Oh
his
my
voice shaking.
bejesus. Sweet baby Jesus.
The old man stumbled toward the mirror behind the counter, catching his
Oh, okay.
bloodshot eyes stared back at him.
Call a
veins
doctor.
bulging, And red tears streaming down his face.
Maybe eat another candy?
A trail of red trickled from his nose, dripping onto the counter. The sight twisted his stomach, and he nearly collapsed as the whispers in his head grew
The
louder.
whispers?
His breath
What are
came
the
in short,
whispers?
sharp gasps. He tried to wipe the blood away.
Oh, man. Ah!
On his pale skin.
This is my worst nightmare, SCP. Come true.
Fell behind the counter, the whispers rising to a deafening roar in his ears. He stumbled backward, crashing into the shelves behind the counter. Glass jars rattled and fell, the sound barely registering. His knees buckled, and he collapsed onto the floor,
my
gasping
God.
for air as the whispers rose to a crescendo. Cold sweat dripped down his back, pooling around him as his body shook uncontrollably. The machine stood silent, its polished surface reflecting the shopkeeper's pale, horrified face. Hours passed before the shopkeeper...
Okay, guys, so we just learned a little bit about the SCP. Now, it is living up to the name of blood candy because as soon as you eat it, it basically makes your entire body start bleeding from every single spot, from your pits, from your butt, from your eyeballs. There's no stopping it, it seems. But the weird part is that it was sweet at first, and he had all of these amazing memories, and it was basically like he just did like the best drug on planet Earth and was feeling all sorts of dopamine, and he was having good memories, and it, like, he grew his hair back and stuff. But then as soon as he reached the center, it got really sour and also started the infection of the blood candy. So I kind of wonder, right? Let's say I knew this thing was the blood candy. What if I just did like a little, I just gave it a little lick, and then I felt good, you know, I felt like I was on cloud 9, and then I stopped. Like or better yet, guys, what if you bite into this candy? Because I do this weird thing, especially with like lollipops and sometimes jawbreakers. I will, you know, lick it for a little bit, and then I'll crunch it to get to the center. Does anybody else do that? Because I've been told that I'm a psychopath for doing that. But what if you did that with this candy? Would that also, that would probably actually just kill me. Yeah, I think I'm dead if I do that.
Stirred. He sat up slowly. His
Oh,
breath
he
shallow
lived?
and uneven.
What?
Every inch of him screamed with exhaustion.
Oh my God.
Heart racing as though it
I
might
thought bro
burst.
was already dead.
His throat was raw, and every breath felt like swallowing shards of glass.
Ouch.
The blood had dried, crusting over his skin and clothes. The whispers had faded, but they still echoed faintly in the corners of his mind. He staggered to his feet, gripping the counter for support. His eyes darted to the candy machine in the corner, its polished surface gleaming in the dim light.
Burn it with a flamethrower.
Innocent and inviting.
No.
Him.
Don't do it again,
A
dude.
sudden surge of anger jolted him into action. He grabbed a large garbage bag from behind the counter, the crinkle of the plastic loud in the stillness of the shop. With trembling hands, he approached the machine. His fingers hesitated on the glass dome containing
I wouldn't
the
even
candies.
touch that
The
thing.
whispers that had haunted him surged in his mind, spurring him forward. He yanked the dome off with a sharp pull. The
What are
glass
you
cooled
gonna
and
do?
unnervingly smooth under his fingers. It felt heavier than he'd expected, or maybe that was just the weight of the fear gnawing at him. One by one, the gumballs tumbled into the bag, their faintly shimmering surfaces catching the light as they fell in an almost hypnotic cascade.
Get rid of that
Shopkeeper tightened
silly
the bag
candy.
with a savage twist, tying it shut with a knot that his shaking hands barely managed. He marched to the alley behind the shop, each step driven by a mixture of determination and dread. The garbage bin stood there, rusting and leaning slightly to one side.
Why do I feel like something bad's gonna happen?
He threw the bag inside with more force than necessary, the gumballs rattling against the metal like sinister marbles.
Guys, I have a feeling that, like other SCPs, when you try to get rid of them, because they are these, like, mythical, sentient beings, it might just come back, and or maybe the gumball machine fills up again with another whole thing of candy, and it just keeps filling up and up and up, and there's no way to actually get rid of it.
Slamming the lid shut,
Let's
he
see.
lingered for a moment, his breath coming in uneven gasps. The whispers in his mind seemed fainter now, but they weren't gone. Back inside the shop, his gaze drifted back to the machine.
Go to a doctor!
Sat on the counter.
What are you doing?
And for a moment, the temptation to destroy the machine entirely burned
You are
hot
bleeding
in his
out of your pits! Go to a
The
doctor!
wrench, its weight familiar and reassuring in his grip. He
Smash.
stopped. His knuckles turned white as he stared at the machine.
Did
His
it fill
presence
back
almost
up?
daring him to make the first move.
What?
Destroying it made things worse. What if the whispers came back stronger?
It could.
The shopkeeper set the wrench down, his hands shaking. Not yet, he whispered to himself, backing away. The machine remained, gleaming silently, patient as ever.
Just
He
throw the
spread
wrench.
His arms, smearing dried blood into his sleeves. He could still feel the whispers slithering through his thoughts.
Oh, I do not like this thing.
That night, he pulled
This is basically how I feel about Chipotle burritos, right? I am very addicted to Chipotle burritos. So any single time that I go to a Chipotle, I start hearing whispers to add guacamole and get extra cheese and get double meat. So I totally get what this guy's going through because I go through the same thing every day.
bolted the shop door and hid in the back room, far from the machine's gleaming temptation. But the next morning, when he mustered the courage to unlock the shop and face the world, his heart sank. The machine was full.
I called it!
Replenished as though
Oh, I'm
nothing
so
happened.
smart.
The polished surface seemed brighter. Its engraving. Try something different today. Sweet and candy red. Catching the light with unnerving cheer.
I swear to God, if he eats another one, I'm gonna flip.
Faint whispers as he fled to the back room. The shopkeeper's mind unraveled day by day. He barely left the back room, haunted by panic attacks and phantom voices.
What the
His wife
heck?
found him pacing, muttering under his breath, or staring blankly at the wall. You're scaring the customers, she snapped, shoving an order book into his hands. Stay here if you're going to be useless. She dismissed his warning as
Bro, why is the wife such an L? Why is she not, like, taking him to a doctor? Or, like, I don't know, hiring some sort of psychiatrist to come and see what's going on? Like, this is supposed to be your husband, not, like, you know, just the dude that's homeless that you're just watching after. This guy clearly is psychotic and needs help.
nonsense. Overwork, she told herself. A man his age running a shop without help was bound to take a toll.
No,
To
it's
her,
the
machine was a
candy.
blessing.
Can he not
Customers were
talk about
curious,
it?
Drawn to its sleek
No.
design and the novelty of its candies.
Oh my God.
Sales
He didn't
were
tell
up,
anybody.
And she had no intention of getting rid of it. One sunny afternoon,
Are you
a young
serious?
boy walked into the shop with his mother. He
Wait, I'm so confused because if she's selling the candy and the guy that first ate it, the shop owner, ate the candy, I guess he can't talk about it. Just like he wasn't able to destroy it, the whispers are telling him that he can't destroy it, and maybe the whispers are telling him that he can't tell anybody what happened so that the SCP can keep selling more gumballs and then keep spreading to as many people as possible. Now, the only thing that I'm curious about is that he took one, like, suck of the ball, and then he immediately started, like, feeling all of these different feelings, and then started bleeding out of his armpits. He was bleeding from his pits. So why is that not happening to anybody else?
barely noticed the jars of licorice or the rows of sugar sticks. His attention locked onto the vending machine. His small hands clenched his mother's skirt, his voice rising in excitement. I want that one, he said,
you don't.
pointing at the machine.
Idiot.
His mother frowned.
Dummy.
Plenty of candy at home.
Yeah, good.
But I don't have that
W
one.
mom.
The boy
Oh my God,
growled,
L kid.
tugging harder. His voice grew louder with every protest, drawing glances from other customers. The mother sighed, digging into her purse for a coin.
No.
Fine, she said, her
No.
tone weary. She dropped the
You
coin into his
fool.
eager palm.
You
But you're
numbskull.
not eating it until after dinner. Understand?
Oh my gosh,
The boy
no.
nodded, already bounding toward the machine.
He's gonna
The
sneak
coin
it.
clinked
I already
into the
know.
slot, and he pulled the lever with all
I would
his
do the
might.
same.
A single candy dropped into the dispenser. He plucked
He's
it out,
dead.
holding it up like a
Death
prize.
by candy
The
bottle.
shimmered faintly, its surface glossy and vibrant, almost too perfect.
Why do I want to try the
Chirped,
candy?
clutching it tightly as they left the shop. The shopkeeper's wife watched them go, shaking her head. Kids and their sweets, she muttered, turning back to the counter. She didn't notice the faint hum that lingered in the air, nor the way the machine's lever reset itself, ready
Oh my
for
God.
the next customer.
Oh,
That evening, the boy bolted
Oh,
to his dinner,
no.
his head powering against the plate as he devoured the meal with all the grace of a starved animal. Can I have it now? He asked, mouth still half full.
bro needs his candy.
Exchanging a glance
He's
with his
so
mother
hype.
before nodding. Go ahead, she said, but brush your teeth after.
Oh
The boy
my
didn't wait for
gosh.
further permission. He sprinted to his room, slamming the door behind him. Perched on his bed, he pulled the candy from his pocket. The wrapper crinkled as he took it off, the sound sharp and electric in the quiet room. He held the candy up, turning it in his fingers, marveling at the faint shimmer. With a triumphant grin, he popped it into his mouth.
Don't do it. You're gonna get
Sweetness
diabetes
seemed like a
and
tidal
bloody
wave, A
armpits.
syrupy explosion of flavor that made his eyes water.
Bro's hooked.
Savoring it. But then, it changed.
No.
Sweetness soured, turning sharp and metallic.
Oh, man.
Bitterness clawed.
So I was kind of hoping that the SCP only affected adults, because there are some SCPs, kind of similar to like Dr. Wondertainment's SCPs, that only really affect adults, but this one seems like it doesn't care whether you're 4 years old or a 97-year-old grandma. You're cooked as soon as you eat it.
At the back of his throat, and his stomach churned. Suddenly, a jolt of pain shot through
Oh,
him like an electric shock.
no!
His fingers twitched uncontrollably, dropping the candy wrapper onto the floor. Then, the
Oh
whispers
my
began.
goodness, not the
They were
whispers!
faint at first, a low murmur brushing the edges.
That's
of his
so creepy with all of the stuffed animals.
Insistent, a cacophony of voices speaking in a language.
Oh,
he couldn't
not the
understand.
cacophony of
His
voices!
hands shot to his ears, trying to block out the noise, but it was inside his head, crawling under his skin. Stop!
Oh, this poor
His voice
child.
high and cracked. Make it stop! The shadows in his room seemed to move.
Go to your mom.
Cars, neatly lined up on the shelf, rattled as if an unseen hand had brushed against them.
So I'm guessing that because this happens, the parents are probably going to contact a doctor, unlike the L wife from earlier. So that's probably where the SCP Foundation is going to first discover that this thing actually exists.
His favorite stuffed bear toppled from the bed, its button eyes glinting eerily in the dim light.
Okay,
He
okay.
scrambled backward, his breath coming in ragged gasps, but there was nowhere to go.
That is terrifying.
Blood pooled under his arms, seeping through his shirt, and
Oh,
leaving dark
no.
stains on his pajama sleeves.
That's so
His socks were
traumatizing.
red and damp, sticky with a crimson sheen that spread to the carpet.
Oh,
Burned at the
I don't
corner of
like
his
this
eyes. He
anymore.
wiped at them, but his hands
This is
were
nightmare
smeared with
fuel.
red. Mom! He shrieked, but the words were barely coherent. He doubled over, his stomach twisting.
Oh,
Blood dripped from his nose,
that is
splattering onto the candy
so,
wrapper as his
so
body
bad.
compressed. His skin glistened with sweat,
Ah.
streaked with faint trails of crimson. The door burst open, and his parents rushed.
Okay,
in.
okay, somebody
His mom
help.
froze in the doorway, her hand.
Oh,
Oh my God! She gasped.
yeah.
His father darted forward, grabbing the boy's trembling shoulders.
Bro, somebody get a
Happened to him?
doctor.
He yelled, his voice rising with panic. The boy clawed at his father's arms, his wide eyes darting
Oh my God.
around the room, as though he were seeing something.
Ah!
that couldn't. It's here! He choked out, his voice
What
raw.
is?
It's here! The candy
This is like
wrapper lay
Stranger
discarded
Things
on the floor,
with the mind
a faint,
flayer.
Sweet smell lingering in the air. The mother picked it up with trembling fingers, staring at it as if it held the answer. But the glossy paper offered no clues, only the lingering promise of something sweet and candy red. The boy's cries echoed through the neighborhood that night.
Oh
His
my
parents'
goodness.
shouts barely masking the
It
chaos.
literally is like he's in the
Everyone
upside down.
had heard the story, or some version of it. Whispers swirled in the corners of the diner and at the general store. Did you hear about that boy? Someone
Oh, wow.
asked, leaning in as if the details might vanish if spoken too loudly. Blood everywhere, they say. And the candy from that machine, another neighbor would add, hushed but eager. The candy shop itself seemed to hold its breath. Fewer parents dared to enter, casting wary glances at the vending machine through the window. But their children, wide-eyed and curious, couldn't resist pressing their noses to the glass.
Give me the
Take long
Satan
for the
candy
machine to
now.
turn another child. This time, it was a shy girl with pigtails, her cheeks flushed as she clutched a few coins in her tiny hand.
That's
She'd
Wednesday
saved
Addams.
every penny of her allowance, eyeing the forbidden candy with
Why?
growing curiosity each
What
time
is?
she passed the shop.
Are you stupid
Today,
or are you an
it didn't
idiot?
come.
What?
Her mother
What?
lingered in the bookstore
Seriously?
next door, engrossed in a discussion about the latest novel. The girl seized the moment.
Are you actually kidding me right now? That, like, a child. Everybody knows that he ate the forbidden candy, and then now no police, no doctor said anything about, like, hey, like, we should probably remove this candy from the candy shop. But, like, maybe the candy didn't do anything, because it is kind of crazy to think that candy could do that. However, if there's a small chance that there's poisonous drug candy inside of a candy shop, you would think somebody would go in and remove it. Simple as that.
Slipping into the shop as quietly as a shadow. The shopkeeper's wife sat at the counter, poring over a stack of receipts. She barely looked up as the girl approached the vending machine. The girl hesitated, her heart pounding as she slid the key
Whatever.
against the
Just
slot.
do it.
The lever felt cold in her
Your
small
fate
hand.
is sealed.
She pulled it, her breath catching as the candy tumbled into the dispenser. She picked it up,
gazing at its shimmering surface.
Death by
For a moment,
idiot.
She thought she heard a faint hum, but she brushed it off and darted out of the shop, her prize clutched tightly. That night, her parents found her curled under her bed, her hands and feet
Of
encrusted
course.
with dried blood, the metallic smell
She
filling the
messed
room.
around and she found
At
out.
first, they thought she'd hurt herself, but a frantic inspection revealed no injuries. Just,
Just
patterns
blood
of her
coming
own
from the
sweat
pits.
pooling and drying in thick crimson streaks. Sweetheart, her mother whispered, kneeling to meet her daughter's hollow stare. What happened? The girl didn't answer. Her lips moved.
I
but the
do not
words
like
were
blood either,
nonsense.
guys. This is so
Broken
bad.
phrases and murmurs that
I
made no
hate this
sense.
video.
Tears streamed from her bloodshot eyes, staining her cheeks red. Her parents exchanged terrified glances, their child trembling and unresponsive in their arms.
Ugh.
The town's unease deepened when the next incident followed just days later.
What?
A boy, known for his boldness and love of adventure,
How many
used his
people
pocket
are
money
gonna
to buy
eat the
candy.
forbidden
He was
devil
last seen
candy?
stuffing it into his mouth as he walked toward the woods,
What?
a wide grin on his face.
Seriously?
Hours passed before his family found him, barefoot and wandering aimlessly through the trees. His clothes were torn,
What?
his skin streaked with dirt and blood. His
Why was it
face
torn?
pale, his expression blank.
Huh.
Son, what happened to you?
I ate the candy, Dad. I ate it.
His voice shaking. The boy blinked, his eyes unfocused. His lips quivered as he whispered, I don't know. His father's grip tightened. What do you mean you don't know? Where have you been? The boy looked down at his hands, coated in blood. He held them up, trembling. Who am I? He asked softly.
What?
His parents stepped back in horror. The boy didn't seem to recognize them.
Is that why nobody knows that it was the candy? Because maybe nobody remembers themselves or anything about themselves after they eat the candy, which would make a lot more sense. But the mom of the first kid did find the wrapper, so I feel like that might have been a good clue to know that, I don't know, the candy did something weird.
Or himself. There were no injuries, no explanation for the blood, only silence, broken by the boy's ragged breathing and his mother's sobs. The shop became a cursed place. Parents yanked their children away from the windows.
Get
warning
away,
growing
Timmy!
sharper. Stay away from there. Do you hear me? A chorus of yes,
Okay,
ma'am,
finally.
and yes, sir. followed,
People
but the
are
children's
listening.
eyes still darted toward the machine. Their
Oh my
curiosity
god,
gnawing
bro.
at them.
All these kids are
The
fat.
shopkeeper's wife was no fool. She noticed the dwindling foot traffic and the fearful glances. It's just a machine, she muttered,
Where is your husband?
sweeping the floor.
Is he good?
That's when the shopkeeper's wife remembered something strange. No matter how many candies the machine dispensed, by morning, its glass dome was full again.
You
At
just
first,
noticed
she chalked
that?
it up to a trick of the mind. Perhaps she hadn't been paying attention. But that same night, after locking up, she emptied the dome herself, pouring every last gumball into a tin bucket.
Okay,
She carried the
finally.
bucket to the back room, stuffing it into a cupboard and locking the door for good measure. The next morning, the dome was full again. She froze, staring at the machine as a chill crept up her spine.
All right, now go talk to your
polished
husband and ask
surface
if he
seemed to
did it.
shimmer under the dim shop lights, the coin slot almost beckoning at her. Her hand reached out, trembling slightly, but she pulled back at the last second. Just my imagination.
No,
she whispered,
what? No,
trying to
no,
steady
no.
her breath.
Listen to yourself.
But deep
No.
down, she knew better. That night, she left the shop lights on. Meanwhile, the rumors reached further than the town, carried by concerned whispers and unsettling reports. Parents spoke of children drenched in blood that wasn't theirs, of panic attacks and hallucinations. The stories of missing children and bizarre deaths eventually caught the attention of the SCP Foundation.
Finally.
One crisp
Okay, we
morning,
got the
2 men in
professionals
dark
here,
suits
guys.
Entered the shop. Their voices were calm, their questions pointed.
Ooh,
They
Scarface.
introduced themselves as government officials conducting a safety inspection.
We've heard reports of strange occurrences linked to this machine.
One said, his eyes fixed on the vending contraption. The shopkeeper's wife hesitated. It's just a candy machine, she said weakly. Her voice faltered. The whispers had kept her awake for nights, and the memory of the refilled dome haunted her. The men exchanged a glance.
We'd like to take it for further examination,
The other said.
for public safety.
Relief and dread warred within her. Take it, she said quickly, almost too eagerly. The Foundation agents moved with precision. A containment team arrived within the hour, disassembling the machine piece by piece.
Despite its mechanical simplicity, the process was far from ordinary. The polished exterior resisted their tools, the lever locked stubbornly in place until they used specialized equipment to disable it.
Huh.
As the machine was packed into a reinforced crate, one agent held up the base, revealing the inscription. "Try something different today, sweet and candy red." The phrase dripped with irony, given the chaos it had caused. The shopkeeper and his wife were escorted into a back room. Their memories of the machine, the candy, and the horrors it had unleashed were erased with a simple injection.
Okay, good. Boom, they got Men in Black mind wiped.
The next morning with
That's
only a
for the
faint
best.
sense of something missing. The machine was transported to a secure Foundation site, its mysteries far from solved. Researchers marveled at its infinite supply of candy, its indestructible mechanisms, and the faint hum it emitted in the quiet of the observation chamber. "Where did it come from?" one researcher mused aloud, staring at the refilled dome.
Probably
No one answered.
Walmart.
The machine sat silent, its polished surface reflecting the sterile lights of the containment room. For now, it was contained. But as the whispers began to creep through the facility's halls, one thing became clear. This anomaly, now formally designated SCP-942, was far from finished. The
What?
machine, now officially labeled
Wait a second.
SCP-942-2, was wheeled into a reinforced chamber under the watchful eyes of armed guards and nervous researchers. It sat in the center of the brightly lit room, gleaming under the fluorescent lights.
Is it going
Beast
to
remained
evolve?
still, silent, and yet undeniably ominous. Researchers set up constant surveillance. Cameras captured every angle of the machine, but it offered no answers.
This is
The
so
dome
weird.
refilled itself each night with the same crimson-tinted candies. There was no observable mechanism, no hidden compartment. The candies simply appeared.
Okay, so
One
there's like a
researcher
black
stared at
hole
the
pocket
monitor, their
dimension.
voice tinged with unease. "It's like it's taunting us." Another shrugged,
Eat
trying to mask
me.
their own nerves. "Or just showing off." The candies, now designated SCP-942-1, were subjected to rigorous analysis. Their composition
what are
seemed
they?
ordinary at first. Sugar, artificial flavoring, food
Okay.
dye.
Yeah,
But their
delicious.
effects on living subjects told a much darker story.
So what is the secret
5
ingredient?
personnel were brought in for testing. Each was handed a single candy, instructed
Oh,
to consume
no.
it, and monitored closely.
These D-class
Subject put it
personnel.
into their mouth,
No,
chewing
just
slowly.
lick it.
At first, their expression brightened. "Tastes amazing," they murmured, a faint smile tugging at their lips. But within moments, their
Ah,
leaders
no.
shifted, their
Another
hands
one
trembled,
bites the dust.
breathing quickened. They clutched their head, muttering incoherently. Then the screaming began.
But the thing is, they don't
The
die.
researcher barked.
It just messes up their brain.
The subject collapsed, convulsing violently before falling into unconsciousness. The pattern was clear. SCP-942-1 wasn't just candy. It was a weapon, disguised as a treat. Despite strict protocols, curiosity proved to be a dangerous weakness. During a routine experiment, one researcher, fatigued and frustrated,
No.
decided to taste
Are
SCP-942-1
you
themselves.
actually dumb? Guys, okay, you literally work at the SCP Foundation. You are a doctor. You probably have PhDs. You've been in school forever. What are you doing? You literally know what this thing does, and you're willingly going to go and take it? Go somewhere else. Go anywhere else. Get a Feastables. I don't care what you do. Why would you ever, in a bajillion years, eat an SCP? That is top-tier dumb behavior.
Whether it was a lapse in judgment or an act of defiance, the result was the same.
No, you're just an
The moment
idiot.
they bit into the candy, their eyes widened.
Oh
At
my
first,
god. I
they
get it
seemed
though.
fine.
I might try it too,
Then
actually.
they weren't. Their breathing turned erratic. They clawed at their arms, leaving deep red streaks. As they screamed about shadows moving. in the corners
Oh
of the room.
my god.
They stumbled into equipment, their voice rising.
Oh
in
no no
despair.
no 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 no.
Watching. They're
Make it
everywhere.
stop.
They shrieked before collapsing.
Oh,
onto the floor,
God.
twitching and muttering incoherently.
I don't like this
The
anymore.
incident left the observation team shaken. "That's why we have protocols," the lead researcher said coldly, though their voice betrayed a hint of fear. The researcher was sedated and taken for observation. Their prognosis was grim. Weeks turned into months, but the Foundation's brightest minds were no closer to understanding SCP-942-2.
They have no
Machine's
idea.
ability to replenish candy remained a mystery. It defied every attempt to probe its inner workings. X-rays showed nothing unusual. Attempts to dismantle it were met with failure, as tools shattered against its metal frame. SCP-942-2 remains contained in its reinforced chamber, monitored day and night. The candies are carefully cataloged, each piece treated as a potential threat. Researchers continue their experiments, but the anomaly remains an enigma. For now, SCP-942-2 sits silently, its polished surface reflecting the sterile glow of the lab. The candies inside gleam invitingly, their crimson hues promising sweetness and something far more sinister. Friends exit a club and step on
This does not sound like me. Is that Jim Carrey? That looks like Jim Carrey.
One that you'll be reminiscing about with your friends for years. As you walk and laugh together, you don't notice the large man standing in front of you.
How?
You run straight into him. You offer a quick apology and move to go around the man, but he steps in front of you, blocking your path. All of your friends grow quiet, and you finally take a good look at the man. The man towers over you. He is huge, with giant elaborate tattoos wrapped around his bulging muscles that it looks like he may have gotten to cover up the numerous white patches of skin that are
That guy definitely can get into the salty Splatoon from SpongeBob.
missing pigmentation. His face, though, is bright red and filled with rage. The man begins screaming at you, asking why you ran into him and calling you horrible names.
Hey,
Again,
bro,
you
it was
try
just
to
an
apologize,
accident.
But the man just keeps yelling as if he can't even hear you. He pushes you hard in the chest. And you
What?
fall back into one of your friends. Another steps forward in an attempt to defuse the situation, but the man punches him in
Oh!
the face.
Oh
A
my
melee
god,
ensues.
yo!
Can accurately be described as a massacre.
This guy's like a freaking anime character, bro. He reminds me of Baki, if you guys have ever seen him. He's like a ginormous anime muscular dude that just like punches everybody. So I don't know if this guy has the SCP on his arms. I really can't tell because it kind of looks like he has tattoos, but it also doesn't necessarily mean that this guy has the SCP. For whatever reason, though, this guy definitely woke up on the wrong side of the bed because he is angrier than a hot potato on a Tuesday morning.
The man has gone ballistic and punches, kicks, and bites your entire group of
Bites?
friends. His
He's a
strength seems
biter?
unreal, even for someone as big and muscular as him.
Bruh.
A large bouncer runs over in an attempt to break up the fight, but even he is no match for this
Oh
tattoo.
my god.
You've been on the ground since he shoved
Yo.
you, watching this insanity play out. But now,
This is
with everyone else
crazy.
lying on the ground, bloodied and bruised, he turns his attention back on you. You try to scramble back
I
to
would
your
play
feet,
dead
but
so
he's upon
fast.
you in an instant.
Oh.
He picks you up over his head and
Whoa,
tosses
whoa,
you
whoa.
into some trash cans.
Oh,
knocking you
man.
unconscious. You open your eyes to see the man standing over you.
Hey,
You
Mr.
can feel
Tomato.
the blood from numerous cuts on your face running down into your eyes and mouth.
Oh.
The man picks you up with one hand and holds you by the throat against the wall. He's still in a rage, breathing hard through clenched teeth.
Does he have
In
rabies?
the corners of his mouth as he brings up his other hand and curls his fingers into a fist. All you can think is this it? But
What?
then you notice something. The tattoo that goes down the man's arm all the way
Okay, guys, so that does confirm that this guy has been infected by SCP-012.
to his hand is moving. The long serpentine dragon is writhing and slithering as if it's alive. Is this really happening, or just a result of the concussive trauma you've received? There's no time to consider it further, though, as the man pulls back and throws a punch right into your face. You can feel your nose flatten and break from the impact, which understandably distracts you from the bizarre crimes. Right as the man's bloodied fist makes contact with your face, the dragon on his arm seems to swim off of his
What?
skin and onto yours. Like a snake moving through water, it glides
Whoa.
off his fist onto your face before sliding down your neck onto your body. There is a series
So, okay, so it's transferable by some dude or some person that's been infected with the SCP. They can transfer it by beating the snot out of you? Am I following this right?
of pain as it moves, like you're being poked with needles over and over. You scream from the pain, blood from your broken nose pouring out of your mouth. The man
Oh.
drops you to the ground and steps back. He no longer looks to be in a rage, and instead looks confused.
Oh, he has no
Looks
idea.
down at his skin to find that the tattoo
What?
is completely gone. A look of unbridled joy comes over his face, and he turns and runs away
Wow.
into the night, laughing with glee.
He just like brutally beat up 5 people or something like that, and then transferred the SCP to this poor helpless man whose nose looks like a flattened banana, and he just is like, yay, woohoo, yeah, I'm going to Disney. Like, shouldn't he turn around and be like, hey man, are you good? Or maybe give him a warning that he's been infected with some sort of SCP, unless the SCP maybe makes it so that you don't remember anything. That could be why he just ran away like a 5-year-old child that just heard he's going to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory.
As he does so, you are left whimpering in pain, curled up in a ball in the pile of trash where he left you.
This is how I wake up every morning.
Now covering your entire body. As you have probably already guessed, this is no normal tattoo.
Yeah, I got that.
An anomalous creature that is known to the SCP Foundation as SCP-021, but it also has another name, the skin worm.
It's time to put on our thinking glasses, ladies and gentlemen.
SCP-021 is an obligate parasite that uses the human body as a host.
I am
Its
now
visual
10%
appearance is
smarter.
in the form of a large, elaborate tattoo of an Oriental-style dragon, which
Okay.
covers roughly 1 square meter of its host's skin.
That's pretty big,
What makes
actually.
This tattoo truly unique is that it is fully animated and moves on the host's body just as a real animal would, though in 2D like a cartoon playing out in real time on their skin. The movement of the tattoo causes horrendous pain for the host, and has been described as feeling like thousands of tiny needles are stabbing at them all at once.
Ouch.
As if a fresh...
So, I mean, that is how you get tattoos in the first place, right? It's a bunch of, like, stabby needles over and over and over again, and then they make the designs after, you know, a little bit of time. So, I guess it kind of makes sense that you would feel that sensation, right? Like, as you are having the tattoo transferred to your body, you're getting the sensation like you are actually getting the tattoo, which is kind of interesting.
Image is being constantly tattooed on their skin, while at the same time, a tattoo removal process is happening. While
What?
the tattoo organism is able to move, it seems to prefer spending most of its time on its host's torso, though it has been seen to move around to other parts of the body on occasion. As SCP-021 moves around on the surface of its host's body, it appears to feed on the pigments in the skin. Its favored meal seems to be other tattoos, which it will seek out and devour. Though if none are
That's
present,
weird.
or if it has eaten all of the tattoos on its host, it will begin consuming the melanin from the skin instead.
Oh, wow.
Melanin is a naturally occurring pigment found in human skin, and after SCP-021 sucks it from its host, it will leave them with permanent skin damage and patches of unpigmented skin.
Yeah, if you guys remember from earlier in the video, the big guy that beat up everybody, he did have some weird patches on his skin, and that must be from the SCP.
That appears similar to that of the skin condition vitiligo. The feeding itself does not appear to cause the host any pain, and the pigments, whether they are from another tattoo or the natural ones in the skin, will simply disappear as 021 eats them. The pace at which SCP-021 feeds will vary, but it has been observed as being able to clear over half a square meter of skin in roughly 1 hour.
That's what,
One way to
an
prevent
hour?
SCP-021 from eating all of the melanin present on a human is to quickly add new tattoos of fruits or small animals as a way to continually...
Bro, wait, you're telling me that you have to feed this thing? You have to put tattoos of bananas and cheeseburgers and Chipotle burritos on your body so that this thing eats those instead of your actual skin. That is insane.
distract it from turning to the melanin. Thus far, outside of motion, the organism has displayed no elevated intelligence or the ability to communicate. It simply moves and feeds.
So what does it want?
SCP-021 is not permanently affixed to the skin of any one host, and in fact, can be transferred back and forth between hosts multiple times.
What? So
The
he
only way
could
to
get it
transfer
back.
the organism is through physical contact, though skin-to-skin contact does not guarantee that the organism will take to a new host. In the event that it does, the dragon tattoo appears to swim across the touching skin and will affix itself to the new human host.
So I don't know if you guys have been wondering this, but why was the guy so angry? Right? And then as soon as he had the SCP leave his body, he like was magically back to normal. So I'm thinking that this SCP not only like eats the pigments of your skin, but it also probably makes you extremely angry like the Incredible Hulk.
Skin-to-skin contact in the romantic sense has been shown to be the most reliable method of transfer from one host to another.
Is that
with a
like kissing?
93% rate of successful transmission. However, as you can imagine, the
Don't do it.
sensation that comes along
No!
with SCP-021 means that this particular transfer is extremely painful for all parties. And the Foundation has deemed that despite its high success rate, it should only be used when absolutely necessary. Contact between two open wounds has been shown to be a slightly less effective method, and has become the default means of transferring when the SCP Foundation wants to move SCP-021 from one host to another.
I don't like this anymore.
Transferring the organism from a deceased host to a living one is possible, though more complicated.
Wait, why would you want to do that?
SCP-021 appears not to mind when its host organism is no longer alive, continuing to feed on whatever pigments are available to it.
Yeah, just let it do that.
Any ill effect from the condition of its host. It is as yet unknown whether SCP-021 could be transferred to another species.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
The organism has only been willing to move from human to human, though research into the question is ongoing.
So I'm guessing there's probably not just one of this type of SCP. There's probably a bunch of them, because if there was just one, then the SCP Foundation could like give it to a D-class personnel. The D-class personnel would eventually die, and then the SCP would be stuck on the D-class personnel's body. And as long as nobody gets close or tries to kiss it or any weird stuff like that, then the SCP would just be trapped there. At least, that's what I'm thinking.
It's theorized that if SCP-021 is able to exist on a non-human animal, it would only occur in the rarest of circumstances. Unlike most parasites, SCP-021 does offer some small but tangible benefits to its host human. In addition to hosts
Super
of the
strength?
organism appearing to have an improved immune system, research has also shown that the presence of 021 will increase its host's release and reuptake of epinephrine, better known as adrenaline. It will also decrease the buildup of lactic acid, which is what builds up in the muscles during activity and causes burning sensations and
Very
soreness.
interesting.
Combined, these benefits from SCP-021 provide its host with increased strength and confidence.
That's what it is.
Pain tolerance during stressful situations.
Huh.
Not surprisingly, the host of SCP-021 also displays a high level of aggression, though
Yeah.
whether this comes from their elevated hormone levels or simply because the organism causes them to be in constant pain is still an unanswered question.
Okay, so he's basically saying that you don't know if it actually is causing rage or if it's just like making the person that has the SCP very irritable because they're constantly getting stabbed, or at least it feels like they're getting stabbed with a bunch of needles and stuff, which probably would make you very, very angry most of the time. Like imagine like every single day you wake up and you have the sensation that you like stub your toe every 5 minutes. I don't think I would be a nice person, and I might punch somebody in the face. That's just me, though.
The amount of time that this symbiotic relationship can be sustained is typically limited to how long the host can tolerate the unceasing pain of the tattoo moving about their body. The persistent agony that a host of SCP-021 endures has led to multiple hosts having taken their own lives.
No.
And in a few rare cases, they have also succumbed to fatal skin infections.
What?
These were likely the result of open wounds caused by the host scratching at their own skin, rather than anything directly attributable to the organism.
Oh, God.
SCP-021 is currently contained on the body of a D-Class personnel, D-139, who was housed in Standard Detention Cell 217A, and the relative ease with which it can be kept on a human subject's body has led to it receiving the safe classification.
Okay.
D-Class personnel are eligible to be a host to SCP-021, and current operating procedure is to allow the organism to live on the same host's body until they expire.
Okay.
The exact nature of what SCP-021 is, as well as its origins, remain a mystery to the Foundation. Attempts have been made to trace the path of its transmission from before its time in containment, and it is hypothesized that the organism could be many hundreds of years old, if not older. As evidenced by its low SCP number, 021 is one of the oldest SCPs that the Foundation keeps contained, and it has proven to be a very useful educational tool for new and upcoming researchers as they study this bizarre creature and its existence that occurs entirely within 2 dimensions.
The American flag flaps gently in the wind. The world is silent. Bang! The door slams open, and the boy runs out of the house, making plane noises with his mouth. The toy bomber in his hand arcs and soars, dipping and diving as it makes its imaginary bombing run around the backyard, over the sandbox, swooping low through the thick grass, past the pond, under the swing set, and up and away into the sky, climbing higher and higher in the direction of the treehouse with its American flag flapping in the morning breeze. What a perfect day. The boy breathes in the air deeply and looks around.
His shoulders slump. He's bored already. 2 seconds in the yard and he's already bored.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna make just a little prediction like I do in these SCP videos. So, based off of the title alone, I'm going to guess that maybe this kid's parents are SCP facility workers. Maybe they're scientists, and maybe one of them accidentally brings home an SCP called Militaristic Play-Doh, and the kid thinks it's an actual toy, and then he starts playing with it, and then the SCP slowly and steadily starts to take over all of his toys, and it actually turns into like the bombers and the tanks, and maybe even like soldiers that actually do damage and like can fight for you and stuff. And this guy will be the new president of the United States just because he has the SCP. That's my prediction.
What is there to do out here that he hasn't already done? He's played in the sand, he's swung on the swings, he's climbed up to the treehouse. He hears the car engine kicking into life somewhere out front. His dad's voice carries over to him on the breeze.
Oh.
I'm running late for work, I'll see you later. If you find my bag anywhere, don't go looking inside of it, just tell me where it is when I get home. Love you, bye.
Okay, wait a second, guys. That is definitely it. The dad literally just told the kid not to do something, which obviously, what does that make the kid want to do? It makes him want to look inside of the flipping bag. This dad is stupid.
The wheels crunch through the gravel driveway, and the engine sound slowly fades into the distance, leaving the boy alone in the backyard again, with nothing but the wind for company. Great. Now he's got to find something to do for the whole day. He throws the toy bomber to the ground in frustration. A wing snaps off and bounces away into the flower bed. Uh-oh. He'll need to fix that before Dad gets home. Super glue. That'll do the trick. There must be some inside. His dad is always fixing things. But the boy's mission is almost immediately sidetracked. As soon as he steps into the house, he spots his dad's bag right by the back door, where he always forgets to look. The boy looks at it curiously for a moment. He wonders what's in there that his dad told him not to look at. He'll just have a little peek.
Okay, if the SCP is inside of this briefcase, that is the worst dad on planet Earth. How could you know, first off, that there's an SCP inside of your house with a child? Like, that is crazy. That is insane. And then you leave it there? You cannot leave the house knowing that you left an SCP at home, especially one like this, which is probably a Euclid or a Keter class. You can't do that.
Not a proper look. He won't even open the bag all the way. Just a little look inside. If anyone asks, he'll say he was looking for superglue. Wait, what's that? It can't be. A little pot with a red lid and big cartoonish letters on the side. Play-Doh? What's his dad doing with a pot of Play-Doh in his bag?
Good question there,
his dad had a
son.
really grown-up job. That's what his mom always says. His dad has a very secret grown-up job, very important, very secret. Is that really what he does at work all day, play with Play-Doh? The boy is far too grown up for Play-Doh. He hasn't played with it for years because it's for babies.
No, Play-Doh's awesome.
Nope, he's a big boy who plays with real toys. But still, a little look won't hurt. He'll take it out, squeeze it in his hands a bit, remember how babyish it is, and put it back.
Don't do it.
He definitely isn't going to play with it.
Don't do
The
it.
boy pops the red lid off and peers
Don't
inside.
do it.
Yep, just as he thought. Boring. Just a lump of red putty. Sitting there being all...
I'm getting really
all
nervous.
boring. But as the boy tips the pot out into his hand, it feels a bit weird.
Oh,
It moves a little in his palm.
boy.
Is there an insect inside it or something? It feels like a pair of little legs.
What?
He rolls the lump over into his other hand and peers at it. Yes, a pair of legs sticking out from the red ball. Only they're not insect legs at all. They're tiny, about the size of insect legs, but there are only 2 of them.
Okay, guys, comment down below what you would do in this exact situation. You found your dad's briefcase, you take it out, and you play with the Play-Doh, and the Play-Doh turns out not to be normal Play-Doh, and it has little tiny legs that are kicking outside of the Play-Doh. What the flip do you do? Comment down below. Personally speaking, I'm pulling out the legs, right? Like, what else would you do, honestly? Either that, or I'd probably go tell my mom and tell her that dad is some sort of sorcerer that can turn Play-Doh into living people. But I'd probably do the first thing.
They're totally red, matching the color of the Play-Doh, and seem to have a tiny pair of boots on the ends of them. The legs wiggle around helplessly, sticking up into the air, until all of a sudden, a hand appears sticking up out of the clay.
Hello.
It looks like a tiny person has somehow been buried in the Play-Doh upside down. The hand gets a good grip on the red ball and pushes and pulls at it, steadily freeing the rest of its body. Until suddenly,
It's a toy
fully
soldier.
formed tiny man pops out of the surface. Roughly the size of the boy's
That's so
fingernail,
cool.
the little red man stands up straight
Wow.
and takes in his surroundings. Not only is the tiny person wearing boots, he's also got a backpack and a helmet on his miniature head.
Does he have
all
a
made
gun?
of Play-Doh. In fact, this tiny person looks just like one of those little green army man toys that his dad had when he was little. The little soldier looks up and sees the boy staring down at him, jumping back in fright. The boy laughs. He guesses he must look pretty scary to someone so small. He smiles at the little army man. The little army man very slowly lowers himself down to his knees, reaching down to the Play-Doh floor he's standing on.
Well, is he going to grab a
The little
gun?
red hand seems to be feeling around for something in the putty.
Oh, he's definitely looking for his weapon.
Fascination, the boy stares closely as the Play-Doh
No,
under the soldier's
squish him.
hand
Squish
morphs
him like
into
a
the shape
bug.
of- What is that?
A gun.
Gun.
Whoa.
The soldier lifts the tiny red rifle to his shoulder and points it straight at the boy's eye.
Oh, no.
He fires, and to the boy's surprise, something comes out. A stream of teeny tiny Play-Doh bullets pepper his eyeball.
Oh, my
The boy
gosh.
throws the Play-Doh ball as hard as he can and blinks hard.
Okay,
Tiny
good.
scream goes.
I thought for a second that the Play-Doh little toy soldier, when he built the gun would have like actual gun-like tendencies and he would have just like killed the kid. But luckily that's not what happened and it actually just shot out little Play-Doh pellets. I still don't understand how that works, but it's way better than him actually like firing a real high-powered weapon.
with it. The bullets didn't really hurt that much, but his eye is a little watery now. The tiny soldier has a real working tiny assault rifle. He's starting to understand why his dad is still playing with Play-Doh. Where did that Play-Doh go? He must have thrown it into the backyard. The boy runs outside and looks around. There it is, just next to the sandbox. He creeps up to the ball cautiously, trying to see if the little soldier is still there. Wait, hang on. There he is. No, there he is.
Oh,
Is
there's
that another one?
more.
He kneels and peers at the small crowd gathering around the ball.
Oh my gosh,
Can't
there's
quite
so
believe
many.
What he's seeing. Dozens of little men are milling around the red ball, with more marching out of it in formation every few seconds. Little red Play-Doh tents are
What?
being erected in a perimeter around the ball.
But you would think they would run out of Play-Doh by now. I mean, look, they built... How many soldiers is that? That's like 69 soldiers, and they have 2 tents, and it looks like they still have a giant ball of Play-Doh left. I mean, honestly, guys, it is pretty cool. When I was younger, and I'm sure when you were younger too, and if you're still younger, like, this would be such a cool thing that if you had Play-Doh and, like, you built stuff with it, that it would just come to life. That would be the coolest thing ever.
A couple of tiny soldiers chop down a twig with tiny red axes and start a campfire. A mini red jeep weaves its way
How'd they
through the
make
grass,
fire?
and a general hops out, with a cowering officer by his side. The tiny general barks tiny orders. It's difficult to hear what the man is saying, but it sounds like he's speaking English, only really high-pitched. He points to a group of soldiers who immediately rush over to the ball of Play-Doh and pull a ladder out of it. They rest the ladder against the edge of the sandbox, and a couple of them hurry their way to the top. Climbing up onto the wooden board, the pair of them split up, rifles in hand, checking the area is clear.
Okay, it is kind of strange, guys. It seems like this militaristic Play-Doh has some sort of objective. Like, we don't know exactly what that is, whether it's to take over the world or to take over a sandbox. We don't know exactly what they're doing yet, and it's kind of making me a little bit creeped out because I don't know what their intentions are. I don't know what the heck they're doing, but for the most part, every single SCP wants something. Like Shy Guy, for instance, doesn't want to be seen, so he like hides and doesn't really, come into contact with people. The statue wants to be seen, so every time you look at him, he doesn't move, but when you don't look at him, he attacks you, and it seems like every other SCP kind of has some sort of motive, but I don't know what these guys are doing. So, I don't know. Comment down below your thoughts.
The general is the next up the ladder. He surveys the yard with a battle-worn wariness, eyes coming to rest on the treehouse. He pulls out his binoculars and takes a good hard look at it, studying every inch of the tree before
They're going
spotting
to
the flagpole
conquer.
rising from the top. Lowering the binoculars with evident satisfaction, the general points a tiny hand at the enormous tree and cries out an order at the top of his little voice.
He said smash like and
A high
subscribe.
pitch rises from the troops on the ground. They pump fists and slap backs. The army has grown already. As the boy looks back down at the platoon gathering in the grass, he sees a dozen more tents have sprung up.
That is
A
so
group of soldiers
cool.
stand in formation around the ball of Play-Doh, keeping watch in every direction. And there, a soldier sits on an acorn crying.
Why?
Helmet in his hands, he weeps openly.
Huh?
There is a red cross on the tent next to him. That must be the medical tent. The boy crouches down on all fours and peers inside the tent. There, on the tiny red bed, surrounded by tiny red nurses, lies a soldier. His legs are bent out of shape,
Ooh.
and he's crying out in pain. A doctor approaches and gives him the bad news before readying the saw.
What?
The boy sits back up. He can't watch. A high-pitched cry echoes from the tent, loud enough to dampen the commotion around the rest of the camp. The boy recognizes that scream. It's the same scream he heard when he threw the Play-Doh out of the door. That first brave soldier, defending his brothers in arms from the giant. What had the boy done? The soldier outside the medical
injured
tent
him.
picks up the phone and informs the tiny soldier's tiny family what had happened. He had lost both his legs, but not his life.
No!
He was a hero. The battalion is mobilizing.
So wait a second, are they going to attack this like 10-year-old kid named Jimmy? He didn't really do anything that wrong other than, throw one of their comrades and he had both of his legs chopped off. But other than that, I mean, he's pretty innocent in this war. Is it a war? What are they doing? What is happening?
No time to mourn. Snipers climb the ladder onto the edge of the sandbox and set up nests all along the wooden beam as trucks rumble through the thick grass below. On the other side of the sandbox wall, a desert platoon makes its way through the scorching heat. Soldiers sit atop tanks,
How much
shaking
Play-Doh
the
do
last
they
remaining drops
have?
of doughy water from their red bottles and wiping sweat from their brows. All of them heading in the direction of the treehouse. The boy stands up, surrounded by tiny soldiers. He has to be careful where he steps now as they fill the
Stomp
grass
on
around
them.
him. A couple of tanks rumble between his feet, flattening the blades of grass as if they were as weak as, well, blades of grass. All of the soldiers, all of the equipment and vehicles, everything is coming from the little ball of red Play-Doh. And little is the right word for it. With every new unit deployed to the front line, the ball shrinks slightly. It's getting smaller and smaller by the minute. They're gonna need reinforcements. The boy rushes into the house and returns in just a few seconds.
Oh,
arms
no!
laden with Play-Doh.
Why is he doing this, bro? I mean, honestly, if I was a 10-year-old kid and this started to happen, I'd probably do the same exact thing. I would want to see them take over as much as possible because that is super cool that your Play-Doh has come to life. Literally, your Play-Doh has turned into like an entire army, so I would want to see it play out.
He's got every pot of it from when he was little. He pops them all open, one after the other, and throws them onto the ground in the midst of the camp. The only slight
That is a nice touch that they're gray because honestly, mine also turned like either gray or brown because I would always combine the colors together and then eventually you just combine too many colors together and then it kind of turns into a mess.
is that all the Play-Doh is that gross brown color that it goes when you mix all the colors together. That won't matter, will it? Gunfire breaks out almost immediately below him. The boy jumps back in surprise, stepping on a communications mast by accident. Tiny brown soldiers rush out of the Play-Doh balls all around the camp, diving into cover and opening fire.
Wait a second, so the kid also had militaristic Play-Doh since he was a kid? There's no way, right? Because he definitely played with them before, but this didn't happen. So maybe the SCP-705 can spread to other Play-Dohs that are like in the area.
The red soldiers. It's a massacre. Red soldiers taking a rest from the front line, calling their loved ones, getting ready to go home on leave, lying injured in beds. All of them are gunned down. Most don't even have a chance to grab their rifles. One brave red soldier sprints to the communications mast and tries to radio the rest of the battalion, telling them what's happened, but the mast is destroyed. A stray bullet catches him in the side of his head, and he crumbles to the ground, just a lifeless blob of Play-Doh. The boy watches in horror as a couple of brown soldiers pick up the body and toss it into the nearest ball of brown Play-Doh.
Oh my gosh!
A dedicated team of them mix the body in with the rest of the dough until it's that same brown color.
What?
From the blob emerges a new brown soldier. The small red streak running across his heart is the only sign that he'd ever been a red at all. The soldier quickly disappears amongst the mass of helmets and boots.
Oh my gosh, they
trampling any
turned him
trace
into one of
the
their
Red
own.
Army.
It's
The
like a
whole yard
virus.
erupts in tiny warfare. The red snipers lining the walls of the sandbox are picked off one after the other. The desert platoon are ambushed by landmines and quickly surrounded, hiding and
I wish I
breaking
had
down tanks as
popcorn.
plumes
This
of
is
sand
so
are thrown up
cool.
all around them. Before long, the brown troops have them completely surrounded. One last soldier bursts out from the hatch in his tank, holding grenades in each hand. The bullet catches him in the head before he can even finish his war cry. The grenades explode harmlessly. nowhere
Oh
near the
my
brown troops.
god.
The red convoy, on its way to the tree, stands the best chance of survival. The boy follows them with fascination, watching as the brown army fight their way through the red line from the back, splitting it through the middle as their superior firepower makes
See, I don't understand why the 10-year-old kid, like, why doesn't he just help them? Obviously, he sees that they're all fighting, and I don't know what side he's technically on, but if I was him, I would just start stomping all of the gray soldiers and just be like a giant Kidzilla that's smashing and, like, crashing and destroying everything in existence. That would be my personal dream. That would be so
work of the
fun.
Transport and supply trucks. Some red soldiers dive away into the thick grass, climbing up dandelions and weeds in a desperate attempt to escape.
I don't know why that's so funny.
As the bodies fall back into the mud like raindrops. A tiny screaming noise fills the yard. The boy turns around just in time to jump out of the way of the brown fighter jets. 5 of them streak through the air, almost at his head height.
No.
Missiles fire out of the bottom of each jet.
Are you kidding me? What in the world?
The remains of the red convoy.
They have planes?
The gunfire dies down within the hour. Skirmishes break out across the yard as brown patrols pick off the stragglers they find from the Red Army hiding in ants' nests, under fallen leaves, and huddling around broken-down vehicles. The boy watches as several high-ranking officers gather in the brown base to oversee the absorption of the last of the red ball of Play-Doh. They mold themselves a big meeting table with a brown map of the yard and plot out their strategy for taking the treehouse for themselves, moving around even tinier little model units across the surface of it with sticks.
Okay, this is getting way too realistic.
Comes together before the boy's eyes and under his feet. A series of mortars and surface-to-air missiles are deployed along the wall of the sandbox. The Air Force takes over the original brown base, chopping down blades of grass and laying out Play-Doh runways flanked with brown hangars. A ring of military units surround the base of the treehouse, strategizing about how best to ascend the colossal structure and reach the flagpole. In the pond, an aircraft carrier splashes into the water,
you kidding
marking
me?
the arrival of the Navy.
No.
The ship is soon flanked by a pair of destroyers.
This is all playing out in a backyard.
Armed with anti-aircraft missiles. The boy is about to go over and peer into the water to try and spot a nuclear submarine.
Nuclear submarine?
Sore eyes. Red soldiers, not much more than a single squadron, hunkered down around the base of the swing set. They've covered themselves in dirt and little clumps of moss to camouflage. They must be the forwardmost scout squadron, just far enough away from that original convoy to escape the slaughter. But what are they doing? The units are all gathered around a pile of leaves. There's something underneath. What is it? It looks like plastic. Of course.
Oh, it's his
toy bomber
plane
with the broken wing.
Oh.
Trying not to draw the attention of the brown army, the boy drops to the ground next to the red units, doing his best
He's
to hide
joining
in
in on the fight.
The red soldiers are arguing amongst themselves. The general is there. He's survived, but barely, slumped against a blade of grass. The scouts' high-pitched arguing is a little too quiet for the boy to make out, but it's pretty clear what's going on. They need to get the toy plane working, but it'll be hopeless without the other wing. He lifts his head and looks around the yard. There it is, in the flower bed, but it's surrounded by brown troops. How could the red soldiers possibly fight their way to it and get back
Just
on
help
board?
them. Just you go do it.
The boy just gets up, walks over to the flower bed, and picks up the wing. In about 3 seconds, he completes an insurmountable effort for those little soldiers. Kneeling next to them, he offers the missing wing. The scouts all stand back warily.
Just
It's
take
the
the
general who
wing.
climbs to his feet and walks over to the boy. He looks at the plastic wing, looks up at the giant towering over him, and raises his arm in a salute.
Salute!
The others follow suit quickly.
Thank you,
and get to work
Kidzilla.
preparing the toy plane. Brown soldiers notice the commotion and start to close in on them.
No,
They
just
don't have
start
much time.
kicking.
The boy
Stop
stamps out a
them.
runway for the soldiers in the grass. The plane is almost ready to go, but is missing one vital piece of the propeller.
What?
Only there's a bigger problem. They're out of red Play-Doh.
Oh, no.
A brown soldier breaks through the thick grass and rushes towards the squadron, his assault rifle peppering the side of the plane with doughy bullets. The scouts all dive into the vehicle and kick the engine into gear. Little red gears and pistons whir into life beneath the plastic, but the plane just isn't moving without the propeller. What can they do? The brown soldier stops in his tracks, staring at the plane. The boy peers at him closer. There's a red streak across his heart. Conflict contorts the tiny soldier's face. The door to the plane opens, and out steps the general.
Okay.
The two soldiers face each other on the runway, the red scouts desperately calling the general to get back in. None of them move. The brown soldier raises his rifle and shoots the general in the head. The other man
No!
crumples to the ground.
No
Inside the
way!
plane, the scouts start to panic. They don't have their guns with
Can
them.
they turn him
Brown
into a
army is bearing
propeller?
down on them from all sides. What can they do? The brown soldier with the streak across his heart walks slowly over to the general's body, stoops down, and picks him up. He carries the body around to the front of the plane.
Yes,
and without
that's
a
what they're
word,
gonna do.
Starts using the Play-Doh to build them a propeller.
He
Brown
got
soldiers
turned into
burst
a
through the grass,
propeller.
swarming the runway. They need to leave, now or never. The brown soldier places the propeller onto the
Thank
plane
you,
and
General.
steps aside as the
You will
vehicle
fly
roars
high.
off along the runway. He salutes the ascending plane as one of his brown compatriots puts a bullet in his chest, right through his
Oh,
red heart.
no.
But the plane is already away, lifting off into the sky. The toy bomber dodges and weaves its way between the whizzing bullets. It banks hard, pulling the nose around inch by inch to face the treehouse. The pilot guns it, pulling the tiny stick back sharply.
Imagine like the neighbor's kids are watching from next door and they're like, yeah, you're not allowed to play with that kid anymore. He's weird.
It seems to take an age for the bomber to climb. The boy glances behind him just in time to see the Brown Navy launch their missiles, 6 of them, all making a beeline.
How do they have missiles? They're made out of Play-Doh.
He sticks a hand
Play-Doh, I say.
the missiles out of the air.
He literally just stopped that.
Leaving streaks of brown Play-Doh on his hand. The others spiral to the ground, where tiny soldiers dive for cover.
Take
the ground
that.
Air Force scrambles, but it's too late. As the jets shoot across the yard, the bomber has already reached its destination. The scouts jump out, deploying red Play-Doh parachutes as
What
they
is
circle
up
their
there
way
that
down
they
onto the
want so bad?
flagpole. A jet catches up to the bomber and blows it out of the sky. The scouts don't have time to mourn their lost pilot, or any of their dead for that matter. Quick as they can, they cut the American flag free. As it flutters and floats down to the grass, the squadron unfurls its replacement, a red rectangle of Play-Doh, barely a couple of inches across. One of them pulls a bugle from his pack and plays the highest
Does
pitch
that mean
version
they
of
won?
the last post you could ever hear. The whole battlefield falls silent to listen. The boy places a hand over his heart just as the first drop of rain hits his shoulder. From somewhere inside, his mom's voice calls. It's about to start raining. Come inside before you catch a cold.
Does she not see this happening?
The boy grins and runs into the house. Outside, the rain pours, and all trace of the war washes away
Wow.
into red and brown streaks in the dirt.
How about
And with
that?
you'd be forgiven for thinking that SCP-705 had never even been in that young boy's backyard.
Yeah, honestly, guys, I am very, very confused, especially because the mom came outside and she didn't say anything. So is this SCP actually real, or is it just like a figment of his imagination?
Most adults would just dismiss the boy's afternoon entertainment as a figment of a child's imagination, but most adults have not encountered SCP-705, otherwise known as Militarized Play-Doh. The results of a redacted megacorporation's research into creating a self-molding product. The specific mechanics of how this militarized Play-Doh was created are hazy, to say the least. What is known is that the small red blob of what appears to be the popular children's sculpting toy exhibits aggressive militaristic tendencies. As soon as the 5-ounce pot is opened, SCP-705 activates, forming itself into miniature Play-Doh soldiers. Each unit comes dressed in detailed and accurate military fatigues, carrying miniaturized weaponry and equipment, all of which...
Yo, I know Toys R Us is out of business, but I don't know. Somebody has to take notes and make this real, just a little less deadly.
identically to their real-life counterparts, aside from one small detail. Everything is made entirely from Play-Doh. When active, SCP-705 can divide into hundreds of infantrymen, each of which seems to have some level of personal autonomy. As of yet, no hive mind mentality has been observed between the soldiers. They all communicate as their real-life military equivalents would, through barking orders, strategizing, and working together. Upon activation, each instance of SCP-705 is highly territorial, seeking to take immediate control of the nearest location or object that seems to be of strategic importance.
That's so funny.
This could be anything from a coffee machine to a treehouse.
Coffee
What appear
machine.
to be innocuous household objects to us pose an incredible tactical advantage to the tiny soldiers, many of whom are willing to sacrifice their lives to take control. The longer this militarized Play-Doh is allowed to roam free, the more advanced the military unit becomes.
Oh,
Leadership
cool.
figures emerge, battle plans grow more and more advanced, and technology improves. While the Play-Doh may initially take the form of a handful of infantry units, if left to their own devices, these units will soon be riding on the backs of tanks, firing miniguns through the doors of attack helicopters, or even developing rudimentary navies and air forces. And
That
of course,
part's
you have seen
crazy.
what happens when SCP-705 comes into contact with a regular pot of Play-Doh. The otherwise harmless putty will take on the same characteristics as this militarized Play-Doh. If the two groups of soldiers are the same color, they will form an alliance. If they are
Oh.
different colors, well, that's where the fun begins. Containing SCP-705 is relatively straightforward. Simply gathering all
Yeah,
the
it seems
Play-Doh
pretty
together
easy.
and putting it back into its 5-ounce pot with the lid closed will neutralize the tiny army entirely. This, coupled with how harmless the tiny, doughy bullets are, means that SCP-705 requires little security. It is housed in Sector 2 safe SCP containment with the lid closed. The only accidental outbreak that has occurred since its containment has been in the break room, when a researcher accidentally left the lid open while they went to the bathroom. When the researcher returned, all they needed to do to rescue their coffee from the clutches of a crazed Play-Doh general was brush a few soldiers off the counter. This is a day SCP-705 still talks about often, with deep fear and reverence. If you want to support this important mission.
Oh, that is so cool. That is honestly way better than I thought the SCP would be. It's honestly probably a safe SCP since it can't do any damage to really anything but other Play-Doh soldiers. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys enjoyed and want to see more SCP videos, make sure you guys smash like and click right here for more.